Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I debate politics and related things with strangers who call in through TikTok Live. We're also live on YouTube, by the way, for everybody watching on TikTok. Is there news today? No, I shouldn't talk about the news. I should talk about that pinned comment that I forget to talk about sometimes, because if you're watching this in VOD form after the fact as a podcast on YouTube, pinned comment will tell you when the first call starts, and there'll be some more detailed timestamps in the description. That is Raven's responsibility, but Raven has some extra responsibilities today due to the fact that they are in this room. They're sitting over there.
Hi.
Can you guys hear Raven?
How's it going, everybody?
Are you watching that? Are you watching that meter to make sure that you're getting to the top of the compression?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit low, so I just got to speak up a little bit.
Yeah, and I can turn you up just a little bit. But now you got to watch for peaking if you get excited.
I'll do my best.
Good. The chat can hear a Raven. So that is the tech situation for today. It's Jesse's day off, so Raven is in-house producer. I'm trying to get to the place where eventually the show will have an in-house producer every fucking day, because that'll just make the show better. But, you know, that's also very expensive. So thanks for the donations, everybody. Speaking of which, we do have a couple of people to thank before we get into anything else, because I got a $5 Venmo overnight from Taylor, who said, thanks for articulating what so many of us feel but can't find the words for. He might be talking about the crash out video. A lot of people are saying that sort of stuff about that crash out video. And maybe that's why fucking Max on Buy Me a Coffee sent me $100. Max. You weren't even listening live. You were just like sitting somewhere on your couch like, I'm going to send Oskar $100 so he can pay Jesse and Raven to make the show better and keep doing all this. So fucking W's in the chat for Big Chunk starting the show strong today. Thanking him. And Pranko, who sent me $10 on Buy Me a Coffee. I seriously appreciate both of you. I appreciate everybody who contributes to the show. It's amazing that so many people care about this show succeeding, that they contribute in a way that makes this happen. And then even before we started the show today, we had a bunch of people gifting each other donation or gifting each other memberships in the YouTube chat. There's like a dozen people who are now members over on YouTube, thanks to Kronos and Jen and Tavi and I Hate Milk. Thank you guys so much. And then Kronos jumped in with a $2 YouTube super chat to say W Raven on her first in-house day. This is Raven's first in-house day, so Raven has no idea what she's doing, and she'll be forgiven for the chaos that might ensue with us both fighting over the controls. We had an operational chat about how to not step on each other's toes, because I have a keyboard and mouse and Raven has a keyboard and mouse, and both of us have the same monitor. We're controlling the same computer, so there's a little bit of procedural stuff, so I don't need to bark at Raven on the air. Get off my keyboard or whatever.
For now,
we'll see. Let's see. Nobody is in the multi-guest request queue, which means I should do the thing I forget to do sometimes, which is put myself in the multi-guest request queue by going over to my burner phone and requesting to join as me. Oskar Quentin 2 is the account from which this show will be hosted if this account gets banned. What do you think about that, Scout? Do you think I'm going to get banned? Anyway, yeah, make sure you're following this account. And if you're on YouTube, never mind, because it'll be on YouTube no matter what. YouTube doesn't care what I say, but TikTok does. And people catch a ban sometimes. It happens. All right, we got 100 people on TikTok, 63 on YouTube, nobody in the guest request queue. So I will talk a little bit about news, because I got asked about Plattner on the air yesterday, and I just had like the biggest brain fart, because for whatever reason I hadn't caught the 24-hour news cycle about his situation getting much worse. So I mixed him up with somebody else. I didn't realize it was something I hadn't thought about in a few weeks or a month. But yeah, Plattner is in trouble. And his endorsements are dropping like flies, as they should. I regret not having a firmer position faster on the air yesterday, because I just do try to be careful about saying, you know, stuff assertively, like that I no longer endorse a Democratic candidate in the midterms or something like that. But yeah, Plattner fucking up big time, and we got to dump his ass. And we'll see. There's been a problem in recent American history where we fail to replace a Democratic candidate with somebody that everybody who was going to vote for them can then get excited enough about to make sure that they win. I think we all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Kamala Harris, for those of you who aren't keeping up at home. So people of Maine, Democrats of Maine, people who, you know what, never mind, not Democrats, anti-Republicans, people who don't want the Republicans to win, eyes on you. Fucking pick somebody. You have like a week. We'll see. That's all I have to say about that. Actually, no, I see you in the chat, Green. I'll get to you in a second, but there's one more thing to say about that, which is we need to recognize on the left that it makes us, in terms of pragmatic electability, the weaker party, that we have to lose a Senate seat when allegations come out against one of our politicians. It's one of the unfair things about the Republicans, is that because they will continue to support somebody who's sexually assaulted women, they don't have to worry about losing votes for something like impeachment, because they have to dump somebody for doing that sort of thing, because they don't have to dump somebody for doing that sort of thing. That's why we're pushing Sisyphus's boulder uphill by fighting the Republicans. They get to play dirty and we don't, because we're not going to vote for rapists. So we just have to be aware of that as we navigate this situation. But without further ado, other than thanking Snake for the $2 on YouTube Super Chat, who said, "Good luck, Raven, on your first day," we'll jump into the debates, hopefully with green. But I am going to hover the disconnect button because we have been having some trolling issues today. I'm going to talk to the color green. Hello, how old are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'm going to be presenting an argument today
How old are you?
that establishes that Donald Trump is in alignment with the teleological properties of aesthetic.
Dude, I don't use the mute button very often on my show, but you need to tell me how old you are.
Down, buddy. You wouldn't.
Goodbye. Nope, we're following TikTok rules today. Never mind. Somebody ban that guy. Weird Thoughts 8 is in the chat. Oh, you know what? Let's no, I'm not gonna accept him in because he'll slur and run. But yeah, if somebody could find him in the thing and get rid of him. Looks like we maybe got those trolls after us today. Could be a fun day. We're gonna talk to Weird Thoughts 8, who I've spoken to before, I believe. So I don't actually think that that's necessarily a troll, but we'll see. We'll see. I can tell by the way that guy said hello that he was gonna be a troll. How old are you?
44. When did I slur?
Talking about the previous guy.
Okay. I don't do that.
No. I just said I recognize your username. I'm pretty sure I've spoken to you before. That's all.
Didn't you go? Weren't you the one that I talked to about Eugene Carroll and you went to the Red Sox game?
Sorry, what?
Did you go to the Red Sox game when they played the Yankees at Fenway? Didn't you get tickets as a student? Wasn't that you?
No.
All right, that was a different person. Anyways. So, Graham Plattner.
Yeah, real bad. We're kicking him. The endorsements are dropping. I don't endorse him.
With you guys being like so anti-Israel and screaming Schnazi as everything and, concentration camps, that Totenkopf tattoo wasn't a giveaway to you guys?
Does he have a tattoo that says Totenkopf? What does that mean? Deadhead in German?
Yeah, one of the exes that sat there and said that he physically abused her too a while ago. Before this one. On his chest, he has a covered up Totenkopf SS tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Are you saying Plattner does?
Yeah, he does.
That would also cause me to drop my endorsement if I had learned that first, but I learned it just now. Anything else?
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of you guys, I would think with you guys being so, not you, I'm just saying in general from what I've seen debating you guys.
Chat's pointing out that Pete Hegseth has an 88 tattoo.
What's that?
88's a reference to Heil Hitler. 8th letter of the alphabet, 88. It's like a tattoo that neo-Nazis get.
I've never seen that.
Okay. Doesn't seem like you care. Anyway, anything else about Plattner? I no longer support him.
You're trying to equate like an interpretive tattoo to an actual symbol.
Cameron, if you're going to tell me that an 88 tattoo isn't a reference to Heil Hitler, you're going to do it with your face. Cameron, let's get you invited for that.
I said I didn't know it was.
I'm just informing you that based on what you just said, you need to turn your camera on or you're not. If you're going to immediately assume that that's an interpretation that's for some reason acceptable, you're going to do it with your face. You've been invited to turn your camera on. It's the only thing that's happening next on the show. Either that or me dragging you along for 5 minutes while I remind the audience every 15 seconds that you're refusing to turn your camera on.
So here's my face. I didn't know what its interpretive meaning was.
Okay,
I inform. Are you happy?
Yeah, I am happy. That's good. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, cool. I'm not going to judge somebody for having bedhead on the show. You weren't expecting to be on the show like this. That's fine. My point is just that when people...
You want me to show my face?
Yeah, you did it. Now we can proceed.
You can come snipe me like Charlie Kirk.
I'm sorry. Who do you think you're talking to? Who do you think has to worry about that more, you or me?
Us.
Great. Welcome to the party. It's a participatory thing. I sit here and do it 2 hours a day. You've been doing it for 30 seconds. If you can't handle the heat, you can leave. Are you ready to proceed in the conversation?
You're on the fucking side of the Nazis, you fucking little bitch. You pussies can't win debates, so you kill people.
Dude,
like
I win a lot of debates and I've never killed anybody. Who are you talking about?
Well, yeah, you don't look like you can fucking kill a fly, dude. I don't blame you for not trying.
Fantastic. Should I try? Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh, no, I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
Okay, anyway, let's get back to this thing about how Pete Hegseth has a tattoo that alludes to allegiance to the Nazis or Nazi ideologies, and you brought that up about Plattner. Now that you know that about Pete Hegseth, does it change your opinion about him in an important way?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
It does if I look it up and I actually find that that's what it means.
Okay, I didn't do that about Plattner. I said that if that's true, it means I'm going to withdraw all support and consider him a problem. But I can just... Could you give me the same grace of saying that if it's true that Pete Hegseth has an 8-8 tattoo, that's very concerning given where he ranks in the military?
Sure. And if that's what it means, and if it's designed the exact same way as Plattner's is. See, unlike you, I don't take rumors of people.
It's got to be exactly the same as Plattner's, or it doesn't fucking matter. What does that even mean, dude? That's ridiculous.
Plattner's tattoo is the exact mirror image of the fucking Totenkopf, you idiot.
Yeah, you're calling me an idiot, but you're upset about Nazi tattoos, but you don't know that 8-8 is you didn't know that 8-8 is a reference to Heil Hitler. Like, you don't actually seem all that educated on Nazi flavored tattoos. I just didn't happen to be aware of this other one.
Is 87 the definition? Is 87 killing somebody? Does 87 mean you're
who's 87's a new number? We were talking about 88.
No, we're using numbers now, and their symbolic meaning. Are they universal?
I mean, 88 as a tattoo means 87. I support Hitler. It means Heil Hitler, yeah. 80. Why do you keep bringing up 87? Where did 87 come from? What is this?
Why have I never seen that in all the history of research I've done?
You know what? Let's trust Google AI on this one. I think this is a general enough knowledge thing to see. We can, if you don't trust Google AI on this one, we can see.
Let's trust that Israel developed technology.
88 tattoo meaning.
Let's trust that Israel developed technology.
In neo-Nazi or white supremacist context, an 88 tattoo is a numeric code for Heil Hitler because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. Again, yeah, like we can go further. You know, there's the Anti-Defamation League. You can look at all sorts of resources about how this is a well.
What is that?
What is what?
What is that? FurryLiberalPussy.org. Like, what other sources?
Yeah, do you think you're making yourself look good in the argument by pretending to read something that isn't on the screen? Like, you're just insulting these sources instead of recognizing that it's common knowledge.
How can I read it? You closed out of it immediately when I...
Yeah, because you weren't engaging with it in good faith. There's no reason for me to have the screen clutter, which is a little bit bad for the performance of the show when you're not actually going to engage with it.
But you took it down.
No, but it didn't say what you were saying out loud. I'm not going to entertain the idea of you pretending it says something that it doesn't, so that people listening at home...
AI.
Israel, what the fuck are you talking about?
You use Israel fucking AI.
Nonsense. I'm gonna see if you can collect yourself and engage with the conversation in a way that's meaningful. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna read some donations.
So you support Israel?
Excuse me. I will start over at the beginning. I don't support Israel at all. That's nonsense, and you know it. But I will start over reading the donations if you interrupt me. So you are gonna. I'm sorry, you are going to have to pipe the fuck down if you want me to get through the donations. Because I will, excuse me, it's not your turn to speak. Do you have manners? Do you recognize that this is my show and I make the rules here? I don't use the mute button, and that's a rule that I prefer to follow.
Bitch.
Okay, so you're going to get kicked instead of continuing the conversation after the donations? Because if you can't let me read the donations, that, you know.
No, a liberal fascist that kicks, if only they had a bullet, dude, what would they do?
God forbid I be in charge of this production environment, because you are allowed to run a production environment fascistically. It's not a fucking country, dude. People's rights don't depend on it. It's my fucking show, and unless you can exercise some manners and respect my authority as showrunner, you need to get the fuck off my show, because these people pay for myself and the people who run the show to work at the show. So I will read their donations.
These fucking idiots pay to watch you.
Goodbye. I'm not fucking doing it because it's too important to me that Jazz Baron Crab sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say Plattner got the tattoo without knowing what it was, and when it was pointed out what it was, he got it immediately covered up. Typical MAGA misrepresent. Good to know. I trust Jazz. They're a frequent contributor to the show, and they often bring me good information. So if any of that's wrong, please let me know. But now I'm armed to answer that bullshit about Plattner, which I started by saying, if it was true, I'd have a problem with it. Doesn't matter, because I have a problem with the guy already, which I started the call by saying. And we have somebody else who joined as a member. We've got Herschel, who came on to become a monthly member over on YouTube and just said, I love your content, Oscar. Thank you very much. Katie Meyer sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, Republicans are the ones removing rights from anyone, not a cis white Christian man. Scout, what are you doing? W's in the chat for Scout, interrupting the show. Let's pop over to Venmo, see if there's anything over there before we move on to somebody else. There is. We got $5 from Nathan, who says, hey, Oscar, I've been watching for about the last month, almost every day at work, and I just want to help pitch, even if it isn't much. I just want to help pitch in, even if it isn't much to what you do. Dude, $5 matters. So many people send $5 on Venmo. Like, $5 is such a, like the amount of the show's budget that is made up for by, like, some guy sending $5 once. Like, that's huge, dude. It's like, the show wouldn't be happening without people doing that. So W's for Nathan. W's also for Kelly, who said to school the chuds and pet the cat. Yes. Well, Scout, see, now there's two people in here, so Scout's actually bothering Raven, which if Scout knew how famous she was, she'd probably want to stay off camera, so maybe she'll prefer that. And I think we have a Cash App from Michael, who said, for $2 on Cash App, are we, the left, weak soy boys or ruthless killers? Yeah, like, which is it, dude, right? like, I didn't even think about the hypocrisy of like, are you afraid of us or can we not harm a fly because we're so chicken armed? Like, which the fuck is it? And you're talking to me, so I don't know. Thank you very much for all of that. And thank you very much from Jack Ruse, DKK50. I don't know how much money that is. So thank you, however much money that is. He says, hey, from Denmark, you're my new Parker and Dean. Love the way you speak your mind. Keep it up. Parker and Dean are both fans of the show, which is pretty fucking exciting for me because it's not mutually exclusive. And I make a point to stream at a time of day where generally neither of them are live. Sometimes I overlap with Parker, but I try not to overlap with Dean. Anyway, enough housekeeping. Linktree in the bio if you want to send me money on Venmo, Cash App, buy me a coffee or Patreon, join the Discord, or find me on the other platforms. All that good stuff that helps the show out. But we're going to move on to Wubby KG. I don't know how to pronounce this username. I don't particularly care, but I do care how old he is. How old are you?
Yeah, you got cooked. Hail Hitler, hail Hitler. Fuck.
No, if you just go to the Hitler stuff, which like, there's no way he's going to get his camera on, obviously, if he's not willing to tell me how old he is. So we're going to kick him because he told me that he liked Hitler instead of telling me his age, which means he's not going to turn his camera on. Because anyway, Pinte, Trump supporters support Hitler. That's the moral of today, and they know they're fucking evil for it. It's funny, sometimes the prompt is just like, am I really that good at rage bait that I just get people to call in and prove the sign right over and over and over again? Like these people think I don't know what I'm doing. I have some idea of what I'm doing. I don't think Pinte meant to jump in because he's taking too long to connect. I bet he's teacupped. So we're going to move on to Trombone Man 42. We're going to see if he's going to say anything about Hitler or his age. Hello, how old are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm 19.
19. Do you support Trump?
No, I wanted to speak about the last conversation you were having.
10 seconds to prompt me, but I'm just looking for debates right now. So you got 10 seconds before I kick you.
I am. I did disagree with what you said. But I don't think there's any good reason to think that Pete Hegseth's tattoo is like a dog whistle.
Camera on.
Okay. Sure.
Same rules as the other guy. Let's get that invite to turn the camera on. All right, let's get you on the big screen for just a moment.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so were you aware of the 88 tattoo thing? We can go back to normal screen.
It's not an 88, it's an American flag.
Do we need to look up a picture?
It literally is, dude.
Do we have a picture?
You can squint at it. It's a flag with 13 stars, but that's consistent with other flag tattoos that obviously are not like dog whistles. I know people that have similar tattoos to that, and they're not neo-Nazis, dude.
Okay, hey, look, I got corrected on both the tattoos today. I'm even
if you look on the Snopes page, it literally says that it's ambiguous. There's no.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now, and it's really tiny on my screen. But I think you're right. It doesn't say 88. I think I'm accepting the on-air correction. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, Plattner still sucks, and Pete Hegseth still sucks. New topic.
Sure. Well, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I just came specifically to correct you on that. I think even if I don't like Pete Hegseth, it probably is wrong to.
I mean, the chat's also saying it clearly says 88. If somebody can get me a better picture, I've got this little teeny one that I don't want to do the work of getting onto the Chrome viewer on Discord. If somebody can send me something better, let's get it. It's
literally just a flag.
Yeah, I'm seeing the flag. I'm not understanding the 88 interpretation. So you see, I'm not like a dishonest piece of.
If you squint really hard, it can look like an 88 if you squint hard. Like the stars can look that way. But the point is, just at face value, it doesn't look that way. And people tend, like, it's common just for people, like, the human nature to like see patterns where they're not really there. So I
don't know, dude. If I saw this dude walking down the street, if I saw this dude in the bar, I think I'd tell the bartender. I think I'd be like, bro, look at those tattoos. You gonna kick this guy out of here? No, dude, no.
I mean, not really. Does that look like an 88 to you, really? Genuinely, just looking at
I'm going to say what I just said a second ago. What I just said a second ago is that I don't understand the 88 interpretation. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. The crosses are this is a very white nationalist flavored tattoo to my glance. That I'm almost more concerned about this than the rest of this. It's just these are red flags. These tattoos in my mind.
It would be more Christian nationalist, if anything, if you're going to argue that.
Oh no! How much fucking better? The biggest threat to this country, Christian nationalism.
I don't even look. That's it. If anything, if it were to be like some dog whistle with more Christian nationalism. No, dude. I'm glad you turned on your fucking camera. Okay, I don't even think that's the case because
I'm gonna trust a rando in the chat who I haven't spoken before because the username says PunchNazis and he asked for an assist. You got some background knowledge here that can help us out, maybe.
What's up, brother? How you doing today?
Friendly as you may be, I do have to check how old you are.
I would be 44.
That's over 18. Tell us what you got.
So the 88 comes from the dead space in the flag tattoo on his bicep. The more troubling one is the anagram down his forearm that says, "We the people." If you look at the way it's written, it actually says "Vice people." The B is it's a German S. It's like a double S. If you push on your keyboard, on your phone, if you push and hold the S, it'll bring up this weird looking little B symbol that's a German symbol. And it doesn't say "we the people," it says "Vice people," which is white people.
I mean, I don't really see that in the tattoo.
You got to bring it up a little bit, Oscar. Okay. It's being blocked by the chat. So do you see how it looks like it says "we the people," but if you look real close, it says WEI and then a weird B-looking letter that's a German letter, and then an E.
No, to me,
that is the German word. That is the German word.
This is a crazy stretch.
For white.
Dude, it is not, dude. You are literally...
wait. Yeah, no. I genuinely see what's going on here, and I happen to speak German because it says "Weiße people." Yeah, yes. So W is a V in German, and then EI is an I sound. So so we get Wei, and then this symbol, the Hegseth is what it's called. It represents two S's next to each other in German, and the word for white is Weiße. If I were to look at this, I think he went to a tattoo artist and said, give me a "We the People" tattoo, but make it so that if you know what you're looking for, you can find Weiße in "We the People," because this font doesn't make any fucking sense unless that's what happened.
Yeah, the font is a dead fucking giveaway as well. That says Weiße people, which is white people in German. And if you don't know that,
because this isn't Gothic font. This is Fraktur. Yeah. This is the German font.
Right. Yes. So
I didn't know about this.
You guys can try to deny this shit all you want, but to people that are actually in the know, it's plain as fucking day. And the fact that you're a person of color coming up and shilling
I think they are in number. Sure, okay, dude. Look, looking at face value, I don't see any reason to infer that that's... You're not...
He was kicked out of the military for his tattoos. Do you not know that? He was reassigned and kicked out of the military for his fucking tattoos. Because they're white supremacist tattoos.
Do you have a source?
Can you pull that up, Oscar?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I'm not entirely sure about the details.
While I look this up, I'll let you guys chatter while I get the evidence back on the screen. But
I can't specifically talk about the flag tattoo. I was unaware about this tattoo, but the flag tattoo, there's no reason to.
This is entirely the problem, though. You just said that you're not entirely sure what you're saying, but you're speaking with certainty.
I spoke with certainty about the flag tattoo. Because I know people that have similar tattoos that are not.
But maybe you need to realize that you actually don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to this.
Okay. Even the host conceded that the flag tattoo does not look like 88.
It actually does when you look at it in the dead space of the stars. It actually is 88. It's the outline of an 88. It is.
No, it is not, dude. If you squint really out, sure, I can look at it.
Raven, you gotta be louder if you want to get him. Guys, hold on. My producer's trying to get a word. Guys, excuse me. Let me host my own show. My producer's trying to get a word in edgewise.
I just want you to maybe consider that maybe the 88 is present now that we've added in some more context and that he has the Visa people tattoo.
I'm not even fully convinced of that.
The chest tattoo is also another pretty big dog whistle. So considering that's 2.5 potential racist dog whistle tattoos, maybe the 88 is valid.
Maybe also, to continue on that, maybe enough red flags for us to say that the guy has some white supremacist tattoos, and we don't need to sit here and argue about how to interpret each of them. There's a fucking pile of them.
Right, how many red flags do you need before you open a theme park?
Well, okay, first of all, the chest tattoo, as we already went over, I don't think there's any reason to think that specifically is white nationalist.
I'm sorry. No. The specific question that you know, shut up. The specific question you were just asked was not give us another specific example of your interpretation of one of these tattoos.
It's not what I'm doing.
You're not listening. The question was, why do we need to keep doing that when he has a pile of tattoos that amount to some red flags? Is that not enough?
Because I disagree that they're red flags. I disagree that the flag tattoo or the chest tattoo are red flags that indicate white nationalism. So I don't even agree they're red flags. That's the issue here.
Yeah, but we know that you're full of shit because you're laughing when you say it.
Yeah,
that's how
I just don't think
you're disingenuous.
Is that a good argument? Is like, I don't know. You're just saying I'm full of shit.
To some degree on this show, I just have to use my social skills when I call bullshit, and I'm going to do that. I agree with PunchNazis. I think you're lying through your fucking teeth, dude. I don't believe that you feel that way with your heart about any of this, and I'm not interested in sitting here and arguing with you disingenuously.
I, a black person, would defend a neo-Nazi just for fun, just because I think
given the concerns that we the people have about, given the concerns that we the people have about his We the People tattoo, do you think that it was sensible to make him so powerful in our military?
I don't think he should be in office. I think he's incompetent and a buffoon.
Then why are you up here defending his Nazi-flavored tattoos?
Because I do not think they're Nazi tattoos, dude. I'm sorry. Like, you
find a different hill to die on, my guy.
I can think a guy is incompetent and stupid and pathetic and not think they're a Nazi. Like, is that like, dude?
They're not Nazis.
These are not like mutually exclusive.
They just get Nazi tattoos and do Nazi salutes and use Nazi slogans. That's all. They're not Nazis, though, you guys.
Okay, dude. I mean, if this is an argument, I don't even know what to engage with.
Exact same enemies as the Nazis did. Wow, that's crazy.
The exact same enemies the Nazis did?
Yeah, the LGBTQ, brown people, immigrants, liberals, socialists, trade unions. Yeah, all the exact same fucking people that the Nazis.
I think you're missing one specific enemy.
Trombone, a good measure of whether or not somebody
the biggest enemy that the Nazis.
Excuse me, stop interrupting my producer.
A good measure of if somebody can, intake reality for me is you've been given these red flags, you have yet to produce any green flags, and yet you refuse to weigh the difference. And I'm not understanding the
you haven't justified how the red flags are red flags. Claiming they're red flags doesn't entail that they are. It is a
red flag that, according to some of my regular viewers, you follow a bunch of Nazi accounts on this account that you're on this call through. That's like a red flag.
Like who?
Know. Let us know in the chat.
So now we're just dropping unsubstantiated claims.
I gave you my source, which is a person in the chat who will know how to answer that question, even though I don't. Do you think you got yourself out of it because of that? Do you think they're not going to tell us right now? Do you think it's not going to show up in the chat? That's going to get shown on this YouTube VOD for the rest of history, along with your face that you showed?
I mean, okay. I'm just saying you repeating the claim that's unsubstantiated is not really it's important or useful to the conversation.
Look, there's lots of people here right now. There's about 700 people watching. There's 4 of us in the call, right? I have my producer here. We have PunchNazis. We have you. We're all working together on this conversation. And I cited something that somebody in the chat just said. Thank you, Paige, for clarifying some of those usernames. They're showing up in the chat right now. And you're acting as though it's unsubstantiated, when in reality what's going on is Paige may as well be another person sitting right over there saying, hey, he follows some Nazi accounts. All I said was, hey, Paige found some Nazi accounts. Let's see what Paige has.
How is that relevant to the conversation?
I'm sorry. Do you think that the fact that you follow Nazi accounts on this TikTok account of yours is not relevant?
Is the claim that I'm a Nazi? Is that the claim?
The claim you just asked me to say the relevance of before interrupting me. Stop interrupting me and let me answer the question, because all I was saying is that yes, the fact that you follow Nazi accounts on your TikTok account is relevant to this conversation in which you are acting like a Nazi apologist.
First of all, the only reason I would follow an account that's related to the debate.
You also follow some pedophiles, or at least one pedophile, according to the chat. Please put the user. Please put the person that he follows in there, so that you. I mean, just, you know.
They'll make the claims. They won't show any usernames or any evidence. And they'll keep repeating the claims.
They already did. Right here. Trombone's got a screenshot. God, is Paige in the Discord? Paige could get us screenshots. Here's a username on the screen for everybody to see. There are some showing up.
Look, if you look to my followers, I follow communists. I follow lots of people. I follow anarchists. I debate lots of people, and I follow most people I debate. So it's not really an indication of my actual views or beliefs. Here's the thing.
Somebody could say, Oskar Quentin, why do you follow Nazis? And I'll say, I debate Nazis on TikTok Live, and if I follow them, it shows up when they're on other panels, so I can go join those panels and correct things that they lie about me saying on my show. I know the answer to the question, why do I follow Nazis on TikTok? Why don't you?
I literally just said I debate people. I debate anarchists. I debate communists.
Then why did you deny that you follow Nazis instead of clarifying that?
I just took issue with an unsubstantiated claim.
Why did you say it was an unsubstantiated claim when you could have cleared it up right away? Why are you running from your association with Nazis? I don't. I platform Nazis. I platform rapists and Nazis and misogynists and racists for a living. So I have clear and direct answers when people say, hey, Oskar, why are you connecting with these people online? I don't sit around and deny it.
After I made the statement, it's a substantiated. I said I follow lots of people.
Why were we talking? You knew it to be true. Why was your argument that the claim was unsubstantiated?
First of all, it's a non sequitur. It's a non sequitur, first of all, to the conversation. It's total non sequitur.
Unsubstantiated, or is it a non sequitur? You said it was
It is both. It is both. It is both unsubstantiated and non sequitur.
That's a pivot away from my. Wait, if it's unsubstantiated, are you now going back and saying that you don't in fact follow Nazis? True or false? You follow some Nazis with your account.
Yes, I never even denied that.
I do too. You said it was unsubstantiated.
Yes, saying it's unsubstantiated was not an indication that's not true. It's just saying that the claim is not validated by a comment.
I'm going to say that I don't give a shit about your semantic bullshit about this. I'm going to use my social skills and say that's not the way a person who's not a Nazi sympathizer of some way would have handled this conversation.
Yeah, I think that the audience knows that. I'm also a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah,
yes. I totally believe that.
I talked to some race traders on the show. It happens.
Yeah, I totally believe Adolf Hitler loved black people and is super for black whites. I'm totally a Yahtzee supporter. I'm a Yahtzee sympathizer.
Why do you sound so much more comfortable saying that sarcastically than any of this stuff that you're trying to present yourself as serious about?
No, because you're genuinely, it's like you can't engage in the conversation. You can't justify your viewpoints. Your only point of recall is to call me a Yahtzee.
Chat, we're gonna do a poll for engage. Excuse me. You need to quiet down. It's my turn because I'm talking to my chat. Excuse me. You need to quiet down, or I'm gonna kick you because I'm talking to my chat. Chat. I just want everybody's general impression about whether or not I'm engaging with his line of reasoning and his positions on these things. Just yes or no in the chat, whether or not I'm doing a good job talking to this person and trying to understand them, because that's really what I do on this show. And if I'm missing something, if there's a question, say, no, you should be saying this. No, you should be asking him that. No, you should be focusing on this thing he said instead of these other things that you're focusing on. And they said, just let me know what I can do to make sure that everybody watching this show, which let's get the exact number. It's 530 on TikTok, 220 over on YouTube. It's about 700 people, a little more, 750 people watching. I just want to make sure that they understand what's going on. That's the whole point. That's why I sit in the chair. Make it so that people like you are understood. I got some yeses, some nos. Let's see. People think I'm doing okay. Make them answer something. Yeah. Make them answer something. I don't know.
Yeah, your fan base thinks you're doing okay. That's so surprising.
People don't seem all that interested. They're telling me to kick you. Maybe kick or keep in the chat. I think we've exhausted the ways in which we can assess whether or not this person is...
Yeah, because you wouldn't engage in the conversation. You're just calling me a Nazi. You're not even engaging or debating what we were discussing about before. You have
people can watch the VOD on YouTube and assess whether or not all... You said I just called you a Nazi. I didn't do anything else. I didn't have any other reasoning. I didn't have any other evidence.
You went from the conversation to talk about who I follow.
Oh, we're divided on the kicks and keeps. We're divided on the kicks and keeps. That's a little interesting.
Sure. Look, can we actually debate the topic about whether Pete Hegseth and the entire... Because the claim has actually moved to just saying the Trump administration as a whole, I think, are Yahtzees, basically. At least that's what PunchNazis is saying.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually... My God. Okay, hold on. We're going to get a crowded panel today because the chat is demanding Erika. I don't even know Erika, so Erika has to tell me how old she is.
Shit. I'm muting up.
I'm 47.
Erika, I know your voice. Were you on RJ's like this morning?
I was on RJ's and I'm on Matt's all the time and I'm on with a ton of people. I just thought this was interesting. I'm just going to put something up on the screen. I was looking at this fella's, I can't find the green screen. Hang on a minute. I was just looking at his profile. I won't put it up. You can take me down. I can't find the green screen.
Sure.
But I don't know where it's gone. But the interesting thing is the first video on this guy's account has the exact same cross on it as Pete Hegseth has on his chest multiple times. And that's called
did you watch the video?
That's I have, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's called a Crusader cross.
It's not a Crusader cross. It's from the Kekistan flag, dude.
It's a Crusader cross.
It's literally a Hoppian flag, dude. What are you talking about? Put the actual screenshot up. Or are you just gonna...
Hoppian! I know this caller! Yeah. This fucking weirdo. Okay.
And it's a joke.
Okay. The point is a Jerusalem.
It is a combination of Hoppianism and communism. That's what the meme is about. You haven't watched the video, and you're just...
I have watched the video.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, what's the video about? Tell me.
Still talking. It's about some weird political economic theory.
That is a joke. It is literally an incompatible theory. It's a combination of communism, Hoppianism, and libertarianism. It is not. Okay. It is not a serious post. Dude.
Anyway, can you chill out? I'm talking about Pete Hegseth's chest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jerusalem cross, otherwise known as a Crusader cross. Mm-hmm. We know the non-committal grunting can stop. We don't require that while I'm talking. Thank you. So the Crusader cross does what it says on the tin. It is the sign that the Crusaders used. And it is a white supremacist, guess what? Dog whistle. It's anti-Islamic and is a dog whistle to other anti-Islamists. All of those things, if they don't equal Nazism, they do equal white supremacist.
I mean,
at best.
In certain contexts, I don't doubt the Crusader crosses have been used by Yazidis. I mean, Iron Cross is also used by Yazidis. And Iron Crosses can also be used in generic, like non-political, non-Yazidi like contexts. Like Iron Crosses are used by like a lot of bikers as well. And they're not, and a lot of them aren't Yazidis. So sure, in certain contexts, Crusader crosses can be utilized by Yazidis and white supremacists. It doesn't mean that in general, any appearance of a Crusader cross is a Yazidi dog whistle.
You're a particularly dangerous flavor of Nazi apologist, which is that you walk around under the guise of being a liberal and then try to make sense of these beliefs.
I never even claimed I'm a liberal, first of all.
Yeah,
I don't know what the arguments, by the way. Just
if my memory is correct, when you started the call, you said you were in opposition, and I was going to kick you for that. And
yeah, I don't support Trump. I don't support Trump. Not supporting Trump doesn't equal liberal. I don't know how that follows.
I think that people are more willing to listen to a person's opinions about Nazis if they don't support Trump, and that makes you more dangerous for trying to spread these sorts of beliefs.
Yeah. Okay. Again, there's no attempt to engage or to refute the argument I made. There's only ad hominem here. Or just attacking or poisoning the world. That's all you're doing.
I said that your behavior is dangerous. That's not an ad. That's
fallacy.
Just
it's fallacy spamming, dude.
Which fallacy is
ideological fallacies. Poisoning the well. Ad hominem. Those are the fallacies you've done throughout this entire life. Instead of engaging with the actual points, refuting the premises and the arguments I've given.
I have addressed your arguments. I have separately attacked your character for the arguments that you're making. You're not absolved from being told you're a piece of shit just because it isn't some sort of propositional logic conclusion. I have some beliefs about the world and people's behavior that are a little complicated to dole out with something like propositional logic. We probably need hundreds of propositions about Nazis and history and social politics and like all this stuff. But my brain is a tool for interpreting those things quickly, and I'm just letting everybody know that Oskar Quentin's brain interprets you to be a piece of shit Nazi apologist based on this conversation, and people can judge whether or not that's a good assessment on their own. It exists for people to watch.
You can insult me. I'm not saying you can't insult me or call me names. Obviously, that's not an hominem. My point is you substituted when I gave a coherent response to what Erika's point was. You substituted a response to what I said with a poison in the well. You said things about my character as substitution for an attempt to actually criticize or condemn the points I made.
I think I have sufficiently criticized and condemned your position.
No, you didn't criticize any of the points I just made now. You made no criticism or
doing it further is my point. We know
because you don't want to have a conversation. You just want to spam ad hominems and spam poison in the well.
We're getting to the circular point. What's up, Erika?
Yeah, Oskar, may I really quickly? I don't think if you had any one of those tattoos on its own with a bunch of other tattoos that had nothing to do with this, you could maybe get away with saying, well, I just went into the tattoo parlor and I liked that tattoo. But when you have Weisse on your arm, and that is an SZ in that word, which is what that symbol is called, the double S symbol in German, when you have that in combination with Crusader crosses, it paints a picture. And it, like I said, one of those things on its own maybe was a mistake. But when you have them in tandem with one another, and that's the thing that you're not going to be able to get over as an argument. You can argue about each of the tattoos individually, but as an argument, having them all together, he's either the stupidest human who has a bunch of Nazi friends, which is bad enough, or he's on the white supremacist train.
I'd like to add something else into the in tandem argument.
He left.
Oh, he left. Pete Hegseth recently changed the rules on shaving waivers for the military, and guess who is predominantly affected by the shaving waivers? Black soldiers. He's purposely trying to make it harder for black soldiers to fit into the military.
Yep.
Well, not to mention the purging of black leadership, and also at the same time the prevention of black soldiers, black officers being promoted. It's a twofer there.
Yep. I think that's all we need on that particular Nazi. Pleasure meeting both of you. I gave you both a follow.
You too.
Appreciate you, Oscar.
All right, I'll kick you for the algorithm, but thanks very much to both of you for coming up.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Always adding to the team of experts who make this show better than it would be with just me running it. So W's in the chat for new friends, and for everybody sending YouTube super chats and stuff, because I've got a couple to read before we move on to another caller. Because Cronus was trying to Google to get some help, but he thought it was AI with all those red flags. Yeah, it did look a little messy. Thank you, Cronus, for the $5 on YouTube super chat. Ryan sent me $10 on YouTube super chat to say he also has a Duas Volt on the inside of his biceps, which is associated with white extremist groups. It was on flags during J6. More in the pile of reasons that Pete Hegseth is fucking a Nazi. Like, holy shit. He has multiple crusade tattoos, not just Christian. Yeah. Thank you, Cronus, for the extra $2 on YouTube Super Chat. And thank you... Who was last? Kelly was last, so we're going to read Kara's $10 Venmo. The message is, I'll be honest, I could give a fuck about the tattoo. I can consider that it was an honest but dumb oversight mistake. The new credible essay allegations, though, full stop, full support is revoked. Talking about Plattner, not Hegseth there. And yeah, I agree, Kara. And Danny sent me $3 to say, Mr. Oskar and or Mr. Quentin is a teacher at heart. Thank you for teaching MAGA. W's for Raven. Yeah, for people who don't know, I was a high school teacher until the end of the semester. I was gonna keep working this summer, but this show is too important, so I run the show now full time, and I have Raven and Jesse helping me. It's Jesse's day off though, so we got Raven in house today, keeping my attention on the things that matter. Link tree in the bio if you want to be a supporter. If you want to just follow me on the other platforms, listen to me when I'm not live on YouTube. Keep up with me on Instagram. That's my main social media, or Facebook if you're one of those. Sorry, I got to trash talk Facebook a little bit. I just auto cross post to there. I love you guys. There's 80,000 of you on Facebook. Thanks so much. It's just not my social media platform of choice. So we are going to talk to Dime, Gone, Dice, all separated by periods instead of spaces, and we'll see if we get a serious conversation about it that doesn't involve defending Nazi behavior. How old are you? Hello?
Yo, what's this?
No, if he doesn't know what this is, he's in the wrong place. We're gonna talk to C Blurry. I think I've spoken to C Blurry before. The username seems familiar to me, but maybe I'm misremembering. My memory's terrible for usernames. Hello, how old are you?
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, did you mean to join the stream?
No, I did not. Sorry, but
no worries. We're going to talk to Boy Blaze. We're going to see if he meant to join the call. Got a lot of butt dials today on the show. Hello, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 18. Whoa, I'm 19. I just wanted to say that last caller, fuck that guy. He's a terrible piece of shit, and you're awesome. That's all I wanted to say.
W's in the chat for C Blurry. We're gonna talk to Trombone Man 42 has been on today. Which one was he? Raven, do you remember which one he was?
The one we just talked to.
Oh yeah, he can get fucked. Goodbye. We're gonna talk to Schmitty_T3. He actually getting back in the queue. I'm not gonna remember. Like now, I just double checked with my producer that was that guy. You're not welcome back on the show, dude. Not today anyway. Hello, how old are you?
42, Oscar. I am a friendly, but I just had a quick thing that maybe it's just me as a father and you as a teacher. I know, like, you know, this is the kids. Have you ever had anybody in your life have to dodge a point or walk around so much to explain something when they're trying to tell you the truth? Versus like making up a lie. It's insane.
This way that people engage in these conversations on this show is bizarre. I argue with politics and with people in public, but nobody is willing to lie through their teeth this voraciously with me in the bar. I cannot understand this behavior.
The constant denial of everything that's in front of your eyes. I get like, oh yeah, it's conspiracy, or this may sound like something. But when it's so many things pointing to one thing, how do we not do this?
Yeah,
I don't know. So
I appreciate you coming. Appreciate you too. Appreciate you coming up and bringing that to our attention for a moment. Because it is fucking wild the way the conversations happen on this show. Like the degree to which that guy is willing to behave as though he doesn't have social skills and doesn't actually speak English very well or something like that. Because that caller who is defending Nazis he was comprehending what we were saying. He's not just a doofus. He's just playing dumb. He's like, oh, because of this semantic thing or because of this random thing. It's like, no, dude, this is bad. Like, we shouldn't have people in the military who have a bunch of red flag tattoos. That's anyway. We're gonna talk to Mario R. I think that's how that's supposed to be read. And maybe we get a serious Trump debate because just not feeling like there are many left. Hello, how old are you? Hello. 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 All right, the only person left back in the queue is Trombone Man 42. The chat can let me know if they want me to go back on my word and have them up because there's nobody else. Or if you just want to talk about stuff, talk about, whatever I'm thinking about, yapping about the link tree in the bio, the ways to support the show. Seriously, it's very exciting that people are supporting the show. Working on getting the mobile version of the show set up. Yeah, the chat does not want that guy. Not as aggressively as I maybe expected. But anyway, we do have more people in the queue. So we're going to talk to Underworld, capital U, capital W, no O in world. Hello, how old are you?
I'm 25. I'm be quick, real quick. I'm take 10 seconds. I'm sorry that you had to deal with Kenneth. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that person. And I thank you for this show because you're educating the people.
W's in the chat for Underworld. Thank you for the kind words. Also, he knows how to use his 10 seconds. Every now and then I give somebody 10 seconds and then I'm sitting here 45 seconds later while they ramble and it's like, trying to be nice to the friendlies, but guys, running a show here. Come on, we're losing the viewership. Gotta pay attention to that because fucking 800 people are watching. Pinte. Have I spoken to Pinte before? I don't remember. Maybe I'll be reminded. Usually that's a bad thing. Hello, how old are you?
I am 18. I am so sorry. I have a major baby voice. But I just wanted to say quickly, thank you for everything you and Raven do. You guys have educated me a lot and I really like your debates. Thank you. Goodbye.
Look at that. 10 seconds of kind words. That's how you stay on the Oskar Quentin show. That's how you stay in my good graces.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's nice punctuation between the calls. Still just got Trombone Man because of the 550 people watching. It's that Nazi apologist and nobody willing to come up and defend Trump on fucking anything because they know they're wrong, right? That's the prompt today, right? We're having this troll issue where major streamers much bigger than me are having a hugely difficult time just getting people to come up and engage properly. The chat, he's saying that I'm running in the chat. Oh, a bunch of people just showed up. We're gonna give him we're gonna ask him for a new topic. Just really quick, just because I'm getting called a runner. You got something new?
Yeah, I just want you to substantiate your claim of me being an
I already did. See, I said I want something new. We're not fucking doing that. Goodbye. We're gonna talk to StevenLederich. Is it a German last name? I don't know. Lederich. I'm not sure.
Hello.
Hello. How old are you?
19.
Okay. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do, but I just had one question. I'm not here to waste y'all's time. So I see a lot of like Democrats doing these debates on TikTok lives, and I don't see a lot of Republicans doing it. Why is that? Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Have you seen a lot of Republicans?
Yeah, there are plenty. I mean, your algorithm is going to serve you accounts that, it thinks are going to drive good engagement for you. So if you don't engage with that type of content, it doesn't get served to you as much. It's actually really hard for any one of us to measure like how much MAGA versus left-leaning content there is in the debate space, because there's no roster of like all of the debate hosts and how many followers they have and what type of live viewership they pull. Maybe somebody could do a study. Maybe we could try to figure out like what the actual discourse space looks like, not through the lens of any one of our particular spotlights. But if you're 19 and you support Trump, I really do want to talk to you.
Well, I don't know. I always grew up in a Republican family, and I've never done research. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't like take time to look at politics and all that. I should, but I just don't. I'm always working 24/7. So if you could like just enlighten me on the Democratic side and what they support.
Well, straightforwardly, I'm pretty critical of the establishment Democrat Party. Like, if I could get in the minds of every Democrat and choose what they vote on and choose how they behave and choose where they accept money from and stuff like that, there's like big changes that we need. Like, politics is really, really broken overall. So I don't want to start from a place of thinking that like the Democrats are some bastion of hope. It's really just the lesser of two evils in a way that really matters right now, because what the Republicans are doing is so very evil that if they win the midterms or continue to have power or like get the next presidency or anything like that, like we're in like some real fucking serious trouble as a democracy. So I like to say when we're going broad with like why I don't support the Republicans or why I don't support MAGA Americans or MAGA Republicans or whatever, Trump generally, I do just say like we could talk about abortion, we could talk about all these little topics, but instead of that I just say the guy doesn't follow the Constitution, and all the Republicans in Congress support him instead of impeaching him for violating the Constitution, and that means that your rights are in danger. I think you should value your rights, and it's a real big problem that they aren't being respected right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say this. I love what you're doing. You're putting your opinion out online, and Dean and Parker, love what they're doing. Yeah, I may not support some of the stuff they say, but I feel like it takes real courage to put all yourself online and talk to hundreds, maybe thousands of people. So I appreciate it, sir. And I hope you have a good day, all right?
You as well. Keep listening, Steven. W's in the chat for Steven for being open-minded. I don't think he's ready to engage so directly, but he's listening and he values what we're doing. So that's good faith. And I'll thank the new members over on YouTube. We got a couple. I saw Ryan joined and Michelle joined. Welcome. You guys, Sunday evening, I do like an evening talk show with a special guest, 7 p.m. Central Time. And after that, I go live to the members only. And I just like have a drink and answer FAQ type stuff. That's like, we talk about politics just because I'm a political commentator. It's important. We talk about that stuff generally, but like, it's not a structured show like this. If you just want to like kick it and hang out, I've gotten big enough that I can't like just offer that to people because it gets overwhelmed and I can't keep up with the chat. But members only, it's like $5 a month to join TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But yeah, those are the ways you can support. You guys know them. Linktree in the bio. Trombone Man is just still sitting there and mad as hell that he got outed for being a Nazi sympathizer by a panel of 3. He got 3v1'd on it. We talked to Mao, who I've definitely talked to before, but I cannot remember who they are. So hopefully it goes well. How old are you?
I'm 36.
36. Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm not. I'm a friendly. I'm just going to make this quick. I guess I have a question. How you address someone that's, I guess, used to be more liberal thinking and has been red-pilled through the algorithm in TikTok recently. And I have a best friend who we have a kind of a dicey relationship now because we consistently get into this conversation and it's really frustrating. So I was wondering if you could maybe answer that for any of us that are going through that as well.
That's definitely tough. It's, I think, not, the common switch right now. I think so many people are jumping ship and moving more left than are people moving more right. But I think you hit the nail on the head by, if that's what's happened to them, if it's the algorithm and if it's the manosphere that's gotten a hold of them because the manosphere is so red, I think you need to focus on that instead of politics. I think this is a person where if you care about them and you want to preserve your relationship with them and like maybe get some of that common ground back, I think that's somebody that you need to talk to about their cell phone addiction. I have people in my life that I have sat down and basically had like a personal intervention where it's like, hey man, when we hang out, you're buried in your phone, man. Like, I don't want to be here. This isn't a good use of my time. I can veg out on my phone from the comfort of my own home. Like, thought we were having a beer, you know? Like, people need to be comfortable saying that to people. I think it's a real emergency what's going on in the attention spans of not just Americans, but people in the world generally because of technology. And if we're unwilling to like have that uncomfortable conversation, like, you know, if you saw a friend who's maybe drinking too much or something like that, that's a little hairy to talk about on TikTok, or it's just like bad for their mental health, bad for their body, like the politics is going to get them raging right away. But I think a lot of people are taken aback by being like, hey, have you checked your screen time? You know, like it's difficult because there's so many issues where it is uncomfortable. Like, you have to be really close to somebody to ask them how much they're drinking. You got to be really close to somebody for it to be okay to be like, hey, is that a good dietary choice? Like, if you're looking out for your friend. But I'm 30. I'll be 31 at the end of the month. So whether it's because of smartphone addiction or food addiction or substance addiction, like, you know, people around you do just drop like flies. That's a thing that happens as we all get older and eventually die. And it's sad to be entering the chapter of my life where like all the people who were just making it on youth aren't there anymore. And I don't see a big difference between whether they've fallen from grace because of poor dietary choices or, you know, drinking too much alcohol, like I said, or just being, you know, just completely cooking their own brain because of social media. So if there's somebody close enough to you to talk about that stuff, that's the angle I would personally take. Because it is bad. People really fry their brains on social media, and I feel conflict about the fact that I contribute to that by making content. I try not to make brain rot. I try to make content that like isn't awful to take in, even the short form stuff, which is worse for your attention span. I'm so glad that like the thing I've realized is best for me to do with my shorts is to make them as long as possible. They're all like 2:45 to 2:57 because they cut off at 3. They won't get pushed in the algorithm longer than that. Because I don't use social media. I don't scroll. I don't watch short videos. Like I like follow people on Instagram, and like a lot of the stuff I watch on there, like I can scroll the first 10 or 20 posts and that'll just tell me the important stuff that my friends are posting, like the people I follow are posting. But I don't use the For You page on TikTok. I don't use this app at all. I think my likes are public, and it's like videos that friends have sent me, and then Jesse the producer's videos, because I like all of those. Support my friend. I think social media is fucking poison. So I'm trying to like make the average dose of poison less by diluting it down with my own content and giving people something better to watch. But we're getting fried. Tavi's defending me in the YouTube chat. He's saying, you know, people like Logan Paul and Mr. Beast make brain rot. I make education. Yeah, but I have to fight against the algorithm. I have to brain rotify my content a little bit in order to get it advertised, because it's dumb clips of crash outs and arguments and snappy moments and zingers and me having a sharp tongue and thick skin. Like, that's what does well in a clip that'll advertise this show to somebody. This moment where I'm having like kind of a down to earth, like nuanced moment about how I feel about all this shit, this isn't marketable. I only get to say this to 750 people because I'm just good enough at tricking people into watching my content by making it entertaining, so they get hooked and actually come over to the longer form, longer attention span, more educational space that we try to have over here. You know, it's edutainment. Got to punctuate with some entertainment. But I mean, that's the game I have to play, right? Like, if I was solely interested in making content that was perfectly educational, I just wouldn't succeed. So I have to remain authentic while fighting against the very thing that caused your friend to get like completely red-pilled by social media. It's hard. Thank you, Victoria, for the $5 on Venmo. Love the way you hold yourself and allow for debate. Big fan, and I appreciate all you stand for and do. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate you. Really is meaningful. I don't know if people see me doing this and want to make sure that I can keep doing it. I think that's all for donations, unless I missed something. But I think we're good. We're going to talk to... No, we were going to talk to LC, but they're gone. Trombone Man, get out of my queue. Do not want to talk to you anymore. Why does he keep trying? Can I like... See, I wish I had a block button. I would just block him for disobeying the rule, which is that I said that I gave him one more chance to talk about a different topic. He brought up the same topic. And then I said, no, he's not following the rules. So now I should ban him because he's not listening. But I don't have a button to do that.
If I may add in on the red pill or unred pilling, one of the methods I use to help connect with them is really try to humanize the topics that you're talking about. So a good one is immigration. You know, when they try to come in with the argument that they don't deserve the rights because they came here illegally, just really be blunt with them and be like, why do you think it's okay to treat human beings so egregiously bad? You know, they're humans. Why is that okay to you? And if you really make them talk it out, a lot of times they just don't have the spine, and then they can start internalizing that maybe their viewpoints are a little unempathetic and toxic.
Well, and that's why I always start by saying, when people say that we need to deport all the illegal immigrants, I always say, who benefits from that?
Absolutely.
Because it just brings us immediately to, like, is this just a good, never mind, I don't care about the law. Lots of the laws in this country are bad. Like, we have a big humanitarian situation to deal with that I think that is caused by our laws being bad. So, like, clearly the law is not the fucking solution here. So we need to figure out what to do. And I'm not interested in the semantic, like, well, it's technically illegal, we got to deport them. I'm just like, who benefits? If you think it's the American worker, you're fucking wrong, and we can talk about that, but at least gets us to a factual claim that has to do with whether or not these policies are going to cause suffering. We've got Courtney in the queue. We'll see if she is a friendly or not, but we're going to check, of course, as we always do, by saying, Courtney, how old are you? Hello? Too noisy, Courtney. I don't think that she meant to join. Amy Eileen, we'll see if she meant to join, or if she's going to be too noisy, or if she's going to tell me how old she is. Hello, how old are you? Don't think that she meant to join. Anna Kaniak, she sent me $10 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. No message, just $10. There's something always very, like, feels very, like, baller to, like, no message, I don't care, I just want to support you. I love that. You can talk to Dr. Jace. Maybe we'll get a debate. How old are you?
Well, probably not a debate. I'm a friendly, real fast. I'm 55. Love your show. Just started watching it a few weeks ago. I wanted to ask you, have you covered the unalivement of the young black man in Memphis by the National Guard?
No. When did that happen?
It's just been the last 3 days. His name is Tyrin Johnson, Tyrin Johnson, and the National Guard unalived him. And they were there under the direction of Donald Trump to assist the Memphis police in cleaning up the city. And given your background says I just thought I'd pop up and see if you were aware of it, since it's been getting zero national news coverage.
Yeah, so here, I've got a story open. I can see right away that the AP is reporting that his family's demanding that the video be released. I'm always in favor of releasing at least, maybe redacted a little bit for violence or privacy, but I think it's important we get footage out of these things. So I will say I'm gonna leave that tab open and I will look into the story, but I'm not gonna try to puzzle it out on air because there's not footage. It's gonna be hard to do that. But yeah. I appreciate you bringing the topic to my attention. Thank you so much for that.
No problem. Thanks for having me up. Great job. I love your content. Have a good night.
W's in the chat for Dr. Jace.
On that note, I think Houston, Texas also had another fatality by ICE that they're not covering in the news as well.
I've been waiting for better information on that one because I saw Mercado posted about it, but I saw comments saying that it wasn't current. It was like a week old and that he did survive. Do you have more information on that?
I don't. I tried looking up after Mercado posted and I haven't been able to find anything either.
Well, let's see. We do have a link in the Discord about it. Shoots man in Houston during an enforcement operation. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer shot and killed a man in Houston after he attempted to evade arrest in his vehicle during an operation Tuesday, the agency said. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that Lorenzo Araujo, a Mexican national, ignored commands and attempted to ram against an agent who fired his weapon in self-defense. The man was targeted in an operation because he was living in the country without legal permission. According to the department, which oversees ICE, the man's car struck an ICE vehicle, the department added. Segaldo Araujo died after being transported to the hospital, according to DHS. All right, so it sounds like there's not video of this out. All available footage, communications, and other evidence should be preserved and reviewed as part of a full and impartial investigation, she said on X. Who is she? Democratic U.S. Representative Sylvia Garcia said that. Yeah, well, so once again, we're calling for the evidence to be released so that it can be properly investigated. And that was immediately the place that I was going to go, which is that, is it possible that this man did a thing that warranted him being shot? Yeah, I'm not the person on the left who's going to say that I'm not happy with any such shooting happening, but I can recognize a situation where an ICE officer was within his rights to defend himself. I can recognize that as a possibility on the table. Commie Combat Vet says, I'm not on the left. Get in the fucking queue if we're doing that today. I will do the communism bullshit today. People saying I'm not on the left. Hilarious. Anyway, yeah, so I can leave my agnosticism, my benefit of the doubt on the table about whether or not this is a good or bad shooting until there's more evidence out. But I worry about evidence being released when it's not immediately made available by the public. We know about Renee Good and Alex Preddy because there was footage from members of the public that came out immediately. Sounds like we don't have that here. So I'm highly skeptical of the official story. But I'm another grifting liberal dude. You tell that to me, to my face, with your face. You're going to come up and put your camera on if you want to talk about it. You're muted in the live. Not doing that shit today. Keith Porter's another good example that the chat's bringing up, where I have to remain somewhat agnostic to what actually happens simply because there isn't footage of it. So I can say that if I were a betting man, what I think probably happened. But I got to be real careful about saying stuff that's true on the show. And if I don't have footage of it, there's always that grain of salt with it. So I've been waiting for a better update on that story, but I will demand that the evidence be released. That to me is something that's something I can speak assertively about. Clearly there's public interest around this stuff. We have body cams for accountability. If we're not using them, then what the fuck is the point? They're just ceremonial. But yeah, the communists, I think, the communists have quelled. I think they've realized that I've brushed up on the half dozen terms that I didn't remember from 10 years ago that they used on me, and now I know them, and now it's really hard to talk to me if you're a communist because I make too much sense. Oops. It also makes it harder for them to admit, to refuse to admit that I agree with them on almost everything. I'm among liberal grifting Dean Withers-esque hosts, I'm pretty fucking far left. I think among that cohort of group of people that I think that you're talking about, I might be the farthest left without just being a full-blown leftist. I always say the leftists think I'm a liberal, the liberals think I'm a leftist, nobody, and then the people who are closer to my kind of gray area, where really all it is that I agree with the leftists about almost everything, but I also recognize that the Republicans are going to put us in prison if we let them win the midterms. I think that's important. I think that matters. Ian says, I'm a commie and have no idea why one wouldn't like you. Yeah, I think I think Ian maybe gets it. Loker is spamming, are you trying to abolish capitalism? Super eventually. In a maybe in the next 100 years type of way. Yeah. Not in the midterms? No. Not in a revolution soon? No, I don't want that. Revolutions are real bad. The rapists and pillagers tend to rise to power when there's a collapse of society. So I don't like that. That's a real last resort type shit. I don't want that. Anyway, we're going to talk to Chris Jumble of Letters, and we're going to see if we get a serious debate, because I feel like it's been an hour and we haven't had an actual Trump supporter come up and just try to defend the guy. How old are you?
Hey, 33. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going to do my 10 seconds here. I live in Houston, not far from where Lorenzo was unalived. There are photos of the scene right after the shooting, or peeping, I'm sorry, and you don't see any damage to the vehicle, and you don't see any entry points in the windshield like you would if there was an officer in front of the vehicle, like I stated.
Yeah, I did see some drive-by footage of somebody showing him on the ground after he'd been pulled out of the vehicle, and I kind of felt the same way about the arrangement of vehicles, where I was like, this doesn't quite. But again, we got to just. So yeah, I hear you, and do feel free to pester me. Here, you know what? I'll actually give you a follow just because it's a local story that you clearly have some info on. So if you want to shoot me a message on TikTok, I'll see it quickly because I follow you. If anything else comes out.
I need to join the Discord also. I'm still not in there, but I'll hop in that eventually.
Mods are paying attention. They'll let you in.
Okay, cool. But I'm teleporting right now, so I'm gonna
go back. No, he totally wasn't teleporting. We love the TikTok shop. Annika doesn't love the TikTok shop. That's why she's over on YouTube Super Chat sending me $20 to say I'm a friendly, but I would really appreciate you kind of setting my ethics straight because I'm relatively uninformed. Is there a space I can pick your brain? By that, I mean a time I can hop in the queue without disrupting. Yeah, well, it depends. I kind of get loose with the rules on who can call in towards the end of the show, and we're getting there. But it's also been a show where we haven't actually had a single Trump debate today, so I might seek that for the rest of the episode. But if we have a bunch of good Trump debates, round about 11:30 Central Time, I kind of go, okay, if you just want to hop up and pick my brain, you're welcome to do so. So yeah, the friendly time is not strictly at 11:30, and today is one of those days where I'd rather go all the way to 12 trying to get a proper debate in, because we just haven't had one today. We had a Nazi apologist instead. That's how it goes looking for Trump supporters. Look for a Trump supporter and you find a Nazi. I think that's maybe a better phrase than all the people who say that if you scratch a liberal, a fascist bleeds, which if you're calling me a fascist, I don't think you watch my show enough. Bobby sent me $2 on Cash App to say journalistic integrity is why Oscar is worth it. Yeah, everybody wants my stance on everything, but if you bring me something I'm not educated about, you are not going to get a hard line from me on the air unless my mods are screaming with sources in the Discord, because sometimes I can get up to speed quickly on the air, but for the important stuff, it's like I really gotta look, which is why I was less confident about Plattner yesterday than I wish I was, because that was a big enough story. I'm disappointed in myself for not catching it, because I'm sure Snake had it in the Discord. I just, for whatever reason, didn't flag it as important enough, so I wasn't confident on my position on the air. And, you know, I try to exercise the same agnosticism. If somebody says, hey, this Republican did this, I will always answer, or Democrat, I'm saying either way, I have to answer and say, if you're describing what they did fairly, then yes, that sounds very bad. But that is a big if, because people describe things very dishonestly on both sides all the time. So I just have to look for a good source on stuff. I was able to pull that quick detail about the family asking for evidence, because that came from the AP, and I really trust the AP on that sort of reporting. So that was just one little piece that I was willing to go off of. Did the commies run away? They did, didn't they? Yeah, they can't spell fascist, much less define it. Well, the people who are saying scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds, they can spell fascism. Those are usually people who are very much on the left. Is Kronos here? Kronos gets airtime. Kronos is a big donor for the show. He's usually over in the TikTok chat, or over in the YouTube chat. Hello, Kronos. How old are you?
I'm 22 as of yesterday.
Happy birthday, and very nice to meet you. You're a frequent contributor to the chats and the members only stream. It's cool to talk to you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I love popping up. I just got TikTok the other day to do this. Didn't really plan on it, but Kami, hopping over to the YouTube was not the option. They said it in the TikTok. You're supposed to hop up and debate Oscar, and you've seen the chat the last few days in TikTok. I'm not dealing with it, so go ahead and go hop up and debate him.
Did he switch over to the YouTube chat when I muted him?
Yeah, he swapped over and said that he got kicked out of your guys' TikTok, so I muted him over here and told him to hop up and chat.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. You even deleted his messages.
Yep, I timed him out, so he has no other choice.
Oh yeah, he was calling me a grifter and saying that he muted me. I explained to the audience why I muted him. It was to demand that he engage with the conversation. Hilarious.
All right, now kick me, get to someone who's actually going to debate you.
W. Kronos. What'd you say?
Happy birthday, Kronos.
Happy birthday's in the chat for Kronos. Kronos really does contribute to the show quite a lot. And not only does he contribute a lot to the show, just, financially, to be straightforward, which makes a big difference to me. He also just contributes a lot in the chat. He's a moderator over on YouTube, because he's one of the busier people over there. And those members only streams, he's just a really reliable person, who keeps the engagement up and keeps the chat interesting, especially as they've grown to be something that I cannot keep track of myself on the air, which I still kind of feel badly about. So fucking serious W's for Kronos, and W's for who else? We have Courtney sending me $1 on Venmo to say, just wanted to tell you that if you click on the thing that Venmo won't show me until I refresh your notification, get that fixed, Venmo. If you click the guest account main page and then top right, click the arrow at the bottom, you can block them. There's an option at the bottom. Sorry for my noise. Oh yeah, I know how to do it from the live window here. It's too many fucking clicks. There should be a big red block button in the multi-guest request queue. It's hard to get to their account from the request queue. You have to find them in the chat. It's annoying. Dara sent me taking on MAGA. Bravo. Thank you for the $10, Dara. I appreciate you very much. And then David. People are saying in the chat, is that another David? Kronos and David are among a similar class of regular viewers. David says W. Kronos. So thank you, David, for the $5 on Venmo. I really appreciate you. Nobody in the queue? What's going on? What's going on, Scout? What do you think? I know. Oh, are you stuck? There you go. W's in the chat for Scout. Somebody's telling me to join Dean. Is Dean even live? Or is Dean here? Maybe Dean's here. I don't know. If I was Dean, I'd have a burner account for watching people I actually watch. I wouldn't want losers like me spotting me in the invite queue and pestering about it. Am I doing friendly? Maybe, right? Like I don't want to because we're here. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. It's been a healthy stream. The peak was over 800. We're at about 800 because man, the YouTube's catching up. Are we about to break 300 for the first time on YouTube? Ooh, get tapping on the screen over on YouTube. You guys gotta compete a little bit with the TikTok. Yeah. Oh no, and it just went down. I don't think it had refreshed. No, but it's been a healthy stream viewership wise. But we've had like 45 minutes of Nazi apologist who just wanted to keep coming up and trying to say that he's not a Nazi apologist when he obviously is, and just nobody's. They know they're fucking wrong. We're gonna see if Cassilda's dynasty is a Trump supporter or not, and we're gonna see if they know they're wrong after we find out how old they are. How old are you?
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'm just gonna ask, what's your evidence of you being a Nazi? Are you just gonna keep winning? Just gonna keep winning, dude? You can just make these insane claims, defamatory claims about people, but can't substantiate them?
There's evidence of it in this episode, dude.
I'm pathetic.
I don't care, dude. Like, you can say all that after behaving in the way that you did on my show. So just, I just don't care. And also, Discord's correct me. I think we have been over 300 on Monday. Well, it'll be in the analytics, which are not viewable to everybody in the Discord. The mod team on the Discord gets they get analytics for each of the live streams, so you can keep track of how well the show is doing. Show is doing great though, generally speaking. Like an average day is still better than my best day like 2 weeks ago, and that's like been the case for months. So
considering the queue, do we invite up Anna Kaniak just to fill some space?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, if you want to hop up now, Anna Kaniak, looks like we might be doing a friendly show. And there is this thing about like that particular guy's strategy. It's like, it's no surprise he had a second TikTok account ready to burn and get banned again. It's like you can bring me a claim and we can get through it. And if you get to talking in circles about it, which he did, he had nothing new to offer. Then I will just say no more. I'm not going to give you more airtime of my show to say the same things over and over and over again. So if you keep rejoining and trying to do that, I will just ban you from the show forever. He had an opportunity to say literally anything else, and he didn't take it. So no, you're banned from the show. Goodbye. Get to remembering that guy's what his voice sounds like, because I'm sure he'll be back on different accounts. Was it a David that was a bitch last week? Yeah, I love the Discord. Bob the Virgin is in the request queue. Let's. I'm not going to check if he's a virgin.
And then one from them. That's really spineless, and you're a pathetic person, dude. Like, you genuinely.
You can just keep doing it, dude. Like, it doesn't make you. Like, you could even try on a different day and maybe have a chance if you don't just start with the same thing. Like, Anyway. Oh, they're mixing up Donor David with Bitch David. No, Donor David is not a bitch. Caller David is a bitch.
Also, if you want the Discord, message one of the mods.
Oh, no, it's in the link tree in the bio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. You do need, you message the mods by, like, setting up your ticket on there to get in. And they have to, get some proof of who you are, your accounts and that stuff. Because dude, that guy is mad. I gave him a good enough chance, right? Like, is he bothering me because he knows that he can get airtime on my show being a piece of shit? I bet most people don't give that Nazi enough airtime. He's like, oh my God, Oskar platforms Nazis so much. I'm such a Nazi. Nobody else will platform me. I have to come bother Oskar. Maybe I can beg and convince him to not fucking deplatform me by calling him a runner, even though he so thoroughly proved I'm a fucking Nazi that I need to keep coming up and trying with the same bullshit that we're talking about in circles. I'd rather sit here and yap to fucking nobody. Me and Raven can kick it. We can do the fucking Oskar and Raven show. I'd rather do that than talk to that fucking Nazi anymore.
I don't understand how he keeps saying that he made substantiated claims when all he did was just say, nah, about yours.
Wait, I have a fun game. Let's make a thumbnail. Because the thumbnails, here's the deal. The thumbnails are always like a reaction gif or like a reaction picture, but I'm just honest. They're all actually a clip from the show. But come over here, get in the thumbnail. Because Jessie gets to be in the thumbnail when she's in-house. So you have to get, you have to get lower.
I have to scoot down here.
Well, here, because you should use the OBS thing as the. Oh, Noodle's in the thumbnail too. I don't know. We can get this out of here a little bit. Hello, Raven.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, now Noodle's jealous.
Of course, jealous Noodle.
See, but we don't have anything to react to. We have to be like. Let's get this out of the way. Do it again. There we go. The Is it dishonest even though it advertises the part of the show where we cheekily made a bullshit reaction gif? That's an honest moment. I will address something that happened earlier. This piece of shit Nazi who keeps trying to call back into the show, we don't need to be ableist. I don't care that he has a speech impediment. That's not the right thing to make fun of him for. Guard Dog. He's one of my most dedicated haters. We're gonna talk to Guard Dog. He's been in the YouTube comments for months, upset about everything.
Clarify, I don't hate you. You know that, right?
I mean, you do an activity that I'm willing to defend is called hating on me, and you do it a lot. So whether you spend a bunch of time loving me, I don't see that as much. But I still need to know how old you are.
Almost everything.
I still need to know how old you are. I still need to know how old. 33. Okay, what are we talking about then?
I don't know. We disagree on a few things. One of the big things is probably Iran. Another thing is probably capitalism. Almost every progressive issue, I'm on your side, believe it or not. And even when I do hate you, I do it in a constructive way, you know, maybe with some harsh language, but I'm trying to shame you into honesty.
Do you think I'm dishonest?
No, I don't think you're dishonest. I think you're passionate, and I think that sometimes passion is antithetical to constructive political debate, because I feel like one of the things that's destroying the modern political discourse is kind of like the dominant rhetorical talking points that kind of push people into the same argument over and over and over again, and that kind of destroys our ability in order to kind of communicate constructively.
Okay, well, on communicating constructively, I just don't actually understand what it is you're trying to do if it's not to make me. You said you were trying to convince me or trying to shame me into behaving honestly, so I asked immediately, do you think I'm dishonest?
So I think being dishonest as opposed to just honesty. Like, honesty is like you approach an argument from authentic, kind of sincere talking point. There are a few people who I've noticed you speaking to, and to clarify also, I'm not MAGA. In fact, I don't really align myself with any political party. I think political parties destroy our ability in order to talk about the subjects themselves, which is more important even than like what's red and what's blue and whatever have you. But I think that some of those people are on the edge of being able to understand certain subjects. And I think that by reacting harshly to them and shaming them, because I mean, some of them are kind of like retarded, like right wingers. But I think,
dude, come on, you gotta know the show better than that, right? Like, for fucking seriously, dude, what the fuck? Come on. Like, seriously, the reason that's frustrating for me is because this is a guy who writes like a paragraph under every VOD and has every day for like 2 months. So I was really interested in hearing, like just talking to him, being like, what the fuck is this about? And he was already making no sense to me, saying that he was trying to shame me into being honest, but then agreeing that I'm not dishonest and then giving me a bunch of Philbro sounding word salad about that. I think he knows, given that he's a VOD watcher, that you get booted immediately if you say the R word. He just actually can't fucking control himself because it's that much in his vocabulary. What a shame. That was an interesting conversation. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow.
Muse, if you want to be homophobic in chat, come on up.
Wow. Muse is going to get... Yeah, Guard Dog, like, I see, because that's the thing. It's like, he says it's my bad. It is your bad, because you know better. You're a VOD watcher. You know the fucking rules. Like, I'm going to shame you for it. Maybe I can shame you into using the R word less, because you so clearly use it so much that you can't remember that it gets you insta-kicked from a show that you listen to many hours a week. Not used to TikTok. Again, maybe get used to being among decent company and not spewing the R word about things that you don't like. It's fucking ableist. It's shitty. You're a shitty person for doing it. Like, my God. You know it's wrong. Like I can't. I get that, like, it's fallen off the euphemism treadmill, and maybe you can't bring it back up, Guard Dog. I'll get my account dinged for it. Like, I can understand that, like, fucking 20 years ago, it might not have been so evil to use it because it was so regularly used as just a word that meant shitty or stupid or whatever. But, like, come the fuck on. You listen to debate lives. You're with the fucking zeitgeist on this. You know it is a shitty word to say about those things. Like, fix your fucking vocabulary. Like, you can come back up on the show another day if you can control yourself. And I know that's not going to change how you behave out in the real world. But yeah, I'm interested in hearing about somebody who wants to shame me into doing anything when he's somebody who's willing to use an ableist term to insult things that he doesn't like. I mean, you can be more intellectually honest about your own opinions than that. Sorry, I'm just ranting about Guard Dog, giving him some stuff to chew on before he comes back. Pat in the chat sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat. I feel like it would be funny if you wrote a jingle during this live about that Yahtzee who keeps requesting, got a jingle I'm working on for David being a bitch, but that's a secret project. Because I love that meme. It so bothers him. And I got such flowers for saying bitch gone at the end of my crash out the other day. I always feel the need when we talk about me calling people a bitch to point out that like I just... Well, I guess we were just talking about that with like what R word means in somebody's vocabulary. I feel like there's like a big enough tide of people just saying that a bitch is a bitch, and it has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with behavior. Because we had David the bitch on and like started that whole meme about calling him a bitch, and then we had Kenzie up, and I was happy to point out that Kenzie's not a bitch. She's a psychopath. Different type of problem. Because it just isn't a gendered thing for me personally. Do we need to mute people in the chat? Do we have people?
Yeah, Muse keeps popping off with homophobia, so...
I
invited them like 20 times, and they keep rejecting it because they don't have a spine.
Oh, yeah, you muted him for the live. Perfect. Great. Yeah, I'm not super interested in the people who make a big ruckus in the chat when I don't have a caller. Didn't get banned. Just to be clear for everybody, I don't ban opposition in the chat. If I don't have a caller, we generally just allow it. When I don't have a caller and they're a person who's invitable, it means that they are causing a ruckus in the chat while I sit here and yap to nobody. And we would all like for them to share those notes with the rest of the class. Maybe the people listening on YouTube, maybe the people listening next week when they watch the VOD on YouTube, Linktree in the bio for that. Yeah, but if you're unwilling to come up, also they all probably know maybe from watching now that if they come up with that type of homophobic shit right away, I am going to make them turn their camera on if they want to continue, and then they will maybe get banned for not doing that, because I'm just sick of these people who know that they're fucking wrong about their beliefs, hiding behind the anonymity of the internet to not lose their jobs or their wives or their friends or their family members or whatever the fuck it is they're worried about having their political voice out there. The First Amendment doesn't protect you from the rules of my show, and it doesn't protect you from how much people are going to hate you for the things you believe. It's supposed to protect the government from enacting actions against you because of your speech, which right now is not working. So that's what we talk about on the show. That's what we spend a lot of airtime on the show talking about. But when people go those avenues, I'm with RJ. I didn't know that RJ had the rule. Like, I'd seen him do it, but I guess I hadn't like really seen that he does kind of do what I've settled on, which is that if somebody brings bigotry to the show, it's like, great, you can be a bigot on the show. We can discuss your bigotry, camera on. Because I just don't feel the need to demand an identity from somebody who's like, oh, I was raised MAGA and I've always voted red, and you know, I don't know. Like, yeah, sure, let's talk. Let's talk behind the comfort of your anonymity. That's okay. You can be a little more vulnerable. You know, you're not out here trying to spread hate. You're trying to understand. You can do that anonymously. I'm okay with that happening anonymously. So yeah. Hold on. We got Astrosims. What he's saying. Is there more arguments? They're arguing about whether or not this is a talk show. Astrosims, do you belong in the request queue, Astrosims? It's ableist to assume everyone can come up and speak. Well, I suppose, but it's a live show, not a message board. Like, I don't know. We're gonna talk to Rye. Are we gonna get one single serious debate in today? Can't believe people still watch this show. How old are you?
I am 24, but this was an accident. I didn't mean to request.
Oh, no worries. Debbie's in the chat for Rye for being polite. Oh, my goodness. I want to argue about Trump. I've heard he's famously popular. Have you not heard that, Raven?
You know, I don't really pay attention to politics.
Oh, yeah. I hear that his approval ratings, like, the best you've ever seen. People love me. Crowd sizes, unbelievable.
He got 110% of the population to vote for him.
1,500% voted for Trump. Where the fuck are
Democrat
they?
numbers are down 600%.
My approval rating is 4 digits. Who's number one on TikTok? Who are we talking about? Because this is just becoming a friendly chat. See, I got to get the funding thing down on YouTube and just actually look at what people are chatting about. It's just us girls. We scared away all the haters by making them put their cameras on. Time for the phone-in option? Yeah, that's... Oh, Trump said that he's number 1 on TikTok? That's fucking hilarious.
He did, actually. That was hilarious. That whole clip was just nonsense.
Leo Ben says 4 digits. Yep, 0.001. That's funny. Or yeah, I gotta count the leading 0. That's fucking bananas. He says things like that. Yeah, Trump's over here talking about what did I get restricted for? Harassment and bullying? How cute. Do we restart? What do you think?
Half an hour left. We could just make it friendly.
We could just make it friendly. We could see. Yeah, I don't know. I'll open it up. We can say friendly time because we're not going to get promoted. We've got 467 on TikTok. It was already starting to dwindle because we weren't getting debates. So we're going to talk to Matt Smith, who's a friendly, who probably knows that he has to tell us how old he is when he joins the call. Hello.
Hello.
Quite a bit of background noise. I am just going to disconnect you and ask that you get to somewhere quieter. Sorry, it's just that was a bit loud. Oscar's take on Mitch McConnell. Yeah. Well, I have been saying for years that he is dead. That's not new. Jokes aside, I've been saying for years that he's absolutely too fucking old, as well as many members of our Senate and recent government officials. I genuinely think that his aides and associates who are saying that they've spoken to him on the phone are lying. I think he's brain dead. Tinfoil hat time. We need proof of life. We, the people, need to demand proof of what these people are saying. Because if it's not true that he's speaking, if it's not true that he's cognizant, then they are keeping a person on life support who is not qualified to run their office, to be a fucking senator, and they're going to try to keep him alive until the deadline past which they don't need to have a special election to replace him, and they can just replace him in the midterms because he was due to retire anyway. So yeah. I did see the alleged leaked photo. I haven't analyzed it closely. I can't give a yes or no on whether or not I think that's AI or actually a leaked photo. But I don't need the photo. If he's 86 years old in the sort of health that I've seen him in, and they perform CPR on him, he's never going to recover. His ribs are never going to heal. It's never going to be comfortable to breathe. I think he's never going to walk again. An 86-year-old who has survived CPR, never mind if they're brain dead, is somebody whose chest will probably never heal before they're just die of old age. So I think he also probably is brain dead because I think we'd have heard his voice. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're weekend at Berniesing him right now. Like like jokes aside about the strings holding him up or whatever, like it is that situation. I think he is not fit to serve in like a will never be conscious again type of way, and they are lying about it. I genuinely believe. Have I spoken to McConnell for 20 minutes yet? Yeah, big question as to whether or not he said anything in return. Because that's what somebody said, they spoke to him for 20 minutes, and I'm like, dude, we haven't seen Mitch McConnell speak for 20 minutes in years. That's
not without a complete glitch.
Yeah, not without like having a mini stroke live on television. Anna Kaniak says, "How do I get live access? I want to ask my question." Oh, it is on TikTok because Anna Kaniak is over on YouTube. We're gonna get a phone number on the screen soon. Working on that. I need to buy the other burner phone for that. I have a hardware limitation for that. But we'll talk to Chairmare for a little bit after I remind all these friendlies who are hanging out in this restricted live about the Venmo and stuff. Linktree in the bio if you want to support. Holy shit. I think David sent another one, but then somebody sent $25. Oh yeah, he was just saying W Kronos. Thank you, David, again. But then Chris sent me $25 on Venmo to add for the bills. Thank you. Got staff to pay. How you doing, Chairmare?
Doing well, man. How you doing?
Running out of people to debate. I think that's the story on the scene right now. Debate hosts can't get somebody to seriously defend the actions of Donald Trump.
He's making it harder every day.
That he is.
I just, because it's friendly, I figured I'd bore the chat. I wanted to offer you, as a teacher, did you ever teach history? I know you did speech and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never I was never like a high school teacher for history, but history, like world history, was one of the subjects I tutored when I was a tutor at my college.
So, yeah, I mean, as with history being so complicated, framing helps sometimes. And, one thing you should consider, a lot of people like to think of Reagan as the start of something. Consider him the end, the actual end of Jim Crow.
I can appreciate that lens.
Everything since then has been the new era, because right after Reagan, that's when you get Gingrich and Limbaugh. And that is the beginning of what we have now. They roll into the Tea Party rolls into MAGA.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, we have like the, Reaganomics is kind of the kickoff of this thing where we took the power that America was developing by taxing its wealthy well enough to run the country in a way that creates prosperity for everybody. All that started ending properly with Reagan, because it was already being eroded away. Those tax rates were already being lowered a little bit, but in a slightly more responsible, all right, maybe they don't need to be as high as they were immediately following World War II. But it really started accelerating with Reagan, and that's when we saw the power of the corporation and the power of the ultra wealthy. I wouldn't call them the billionaire in the 70s, because being 100 millionaire or tens of millionaire meant a lot more in the 70s than it does now. So yeah, I agree with that lens completely. I think that this is the current chapter.
Have you ever heard the name Lee Atwater?
I think I've heard the name. Who is it? Educate me.
So he was one of Reagan's higher up political strategists, and he was old school Southern racist. And there's a recording of him from a presentation he was making, where basically he says, look, when we were doing this stuff in the 40s and the 50s, you could just say the N-word and that got you the vote. But then the 60s roll around, and all of a sudden, you're not allowed to say the N-word anymore. So now we have to say things like states' rights and forced busing. And he basically lays out the dog whistles that the Republican Party is still using today. And he draws the direct line. He says, yeah, we used to just say the N-word, and we got people to vote for us. So then you look at that being the guy who comes up with the Southern strategy for Reagan. Wins him, 49 states. Democrats freak out. They just lost the entire Southern blue-collar worker, and they think it's because of policy. So they start moving closer to the center because they thought they lost people because their policy was too far left. Then you get into the 90s where Clinton... his politics, in effect, were right of center. Mm-hmm. When you look at what he actually got done, he was during Clinton, they had to add an appendix to how we measure border crossings that was number of dead bodies found in no man's land. Him and Tip O'Neill were hand in hand. Tip O'Neill was the Republican majority leader. And all of that was because the Democratic Party did not realize they lost the Southern blue-collar workers because of the dog whistles.
Well, yeah, this is such important context for what a lot of people point out, which is that this is so much bigger than Trump. This is so much bigger than this particular little ugly chapter that we're in, which is why I talk a lot about Trump. The show's about Trump, but I always point out that he's 80. He's the nature's going to take care of him soon enough. The reason we need action against him is so that there's consequences for this type of behavior, because it is bigger than him. And Project 2025 is the next the next little paragraph in this chapter. And if you know that history, if you know the degree to which it has been accelerating, we're getting back to the point where people are taking the masks off. You said just a second ago that you used to just be able to win the vote with the N-word. We're getting back into that territory because they've taken so much control of the government that suddenly they can do that sort of thing. They've taken so much control of the electorate, at least so they think, by normalizing all of this bad behavior that otherwise we've been progressing away from. Was it you who offered me that label for conservatives, which is to say they're not conservative, they're regressive? Was that a conversation I had with you, Chairmare?
Oh no, I think that was. Who's the guy who works for a state HHS?
Oh yeah, it was him. I forget.
We were on the same panel.
That's why I'm mixing up the memory. But yeah, I like the idea that it's like, if we look at actually the policies that people in these political perspectives, these parties want right now, the conservatives aren't trying to conserve shit. They're trying to go backwards because we've made so much progress that they no longer want to conserve what we have. They want to regress back to the way it was when you could win an election in the 50s by using the N-word. Then establishment Democrats are kind of conservatives.
You can also see that
we have an issue now.
Trans people. Nancy Mace literally says the T-slur multiple times within the halls of Congress on recorded lines and gets away with it and is actually, paraded for it.
Oh, and it's amazing because one of the few conversations I've had with the few people in my life who voted Trump that are actually very successful are hey man, if someone tells you that name upsets them, are you going to be the person who purposefully calls them that after that? And they usually respond pretty well. They're like, oh, didn't think about it like that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I issue with slur using in general. It's like, are you really going to try to argue your way out of it hurts people's feelings?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, fuck your feelings, sure. But when it's so many people's feelings, it's like, maybe just use a different word. Maybe you could just value the suffering that it causes enough to use a different word that accomplishes your meaning in the way that you're looking for. If that's not enough for you, then you are just of the shitty, selfish sort who just isn't going to care. Noodle, what are you grumbling about? My dog is moaning and groaning. Where even is she?
She was on the bed.
There she is. Sorry.
But yeah, that is the one conversation that I have had with conservatives personally that tends to always reframe it pretty quickly for them.
How you doing, Derek?
Hey, yo, what's up?
Having friendly time. Nobody wants to debate today.
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
I mean, it's kind of low-key exciting.
Maybe it's because MAGA know they are wrong.
Yeah. There's nothing left to defend. It's just getting too hard.
I mean, it is. Like, it's amazing it took this long, but there are a lot of MAGA people jumping ship now. They're just like, look, we thought he was going to be the guy who would no foreign wars. I mean, in particular, anti-Semitism is a big striking point between, kind of a big split in MAGA. Are you allowed to say that on here? Fuck.
Yeah, we can say anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also coming on the end of a live restriction, so don't worry about it.
Sure. Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, no, but MAGA, definitely, I think there's just so many of them that are they don't want to ever admit they're wrong. And they also, like that, what's the term for here? The Yahtzee guy earlier trying to say that he was, it's all cultural. Like, they're voting for Trump for cultural reasons, not for actual policy reasons. It's just because they don't essentially it's racism. They don't want to admit it, but interestingly enough, I got the dumbest guy from my high school to admit to me that he's like, I support ICE basically just because of racism. It's like, oh well, at least you're willing to say it out loud.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you've been catching the gag is that when we get to that part of the conversation, lately is when I've been demanding people turn their cameras on, and they don't like that shit at all.
Of course not. Yeah, no, they don't want to actually have their. I mean, even ICE themselves won't have their faces out. The ones at like you mentioned earlier, the ones at the Capitol this weekend were they don't want to have they were against masks during COVID, but they're pro masks now when it's.
I was about to say, if we took their masks off, we could see that they were the people who were refusing to wear masks just a few years ago, to protect the vulnerable members of our population.
I think it really goes to show, though, they're only willing to mask up to protect themselves and not their neighbors, and that just really is the foundation of MAGA mindset.
It all keeps boiling back down to selfishness, doesn't it?
One thing I think you should consider with, anyone under maybe 50 is, with that whole shifting the dog whistle, you now have your Matt Gaetzes. These are people who grew up with the dog whistle, not knowing that it was a dog whistle.
Right. Ah, good point. Yeah.
And so they're the true believers, right? They thought states' rights and forced busing and stuff like that was a legit thing, like that, because that's what they were told. Their parents didn't say, "Oh no, we really only like that because we hate these people." So they thought that was the actual policy, and so now you see the swing back, where as adults they're making that connection, oh, maybe racism's a good thing. Because that's where they grew up. That was what their trusted adults were telling them.
It makes a lot of sense.
Dog whistle.
I was raised pretty, I didn't realize how racist I was raised until I left my family and got a little bit of world experience. And that took a long time to deconstruct. And, I wasn't racist, but I exuded racism. And a lot of maggots aren't willing to take that step to recognize that.
I'll take the lull in the conversation to just thank a couple of donors. Robbie sent me $2 on Venmo to add, hey, Oscar, question. If you had the opportunity to cross-examine Trump in a courtroom televised in front of the entire country, what would you use the time to ask? Ooh.
That's a good one.
I think I'd go into that prepared with times he'd been directly inconsistent in public, where he has on one occasion said, quote, this, on another occasion said, quote, that, and then directly asked him for the truth. I think I'd come up with 20 or 30 examples and spend a minute or two on each of them. If I had a couple hours with him, I think that's the approach I would take. But that I might open to the panels. Dr. Dankenstein, you're being very noisy. You're muted. I've sent you the invite to unmute, but don't unmute yourself until you're ready to talk because you're being noisy. Colin sent me $5 on Venmo to say, consider changing your name to Oscar's class. So pretentious. I don't want to be Mr. Oscar. I like being Mr. Oscar in the classroom, but I don't know. I don't want to be like, welcome to class, kids. I know some people take that attitude towards the debates because there is like, I think of this debate show as more like an octagon than a classroom. It's kind of like combative most of the time. Even though I do poll teacher Oscar out when like an 18-year-old who's confused calls in, of course. But anyway, Pat in the chat for $10 on YouTube Super Chat says, are you familiar with Toby Morton? He makes satirical, and then in parentheses, truthful websites about GOP politicians. His most recent one, The Trump Obituary, is great. Check him out if you haven't already. I'll put him in a tab, Toby Morton. I will dig through that the next time I dig through all the tabs in my stream Chrome profile. Toby Morton. I've got a big pile of recommendations to look through because people have realized I actually do look at the notification or the recommendations that people send me. So we've gotten a little crowded. Somebody in the Discord is pointing out that David was on RJ's show and people in the chat are calling him a bitch. That's what I want of that meme. I want wherever David goes for people to call him a bitch because he is a bitch. And the reason I'm okay with that being the tactic used is because he's so disingenuous. He's so dishonest and rude and just immediately attacks character and overtalks. Like, there's no attempting with him, so fuck it, you're a bitch. You're just going to be called a bitch wherever you go on TikTok, and that'll follow him around forever. He'll have to make a new account, and people are going to start recognizing his voice and calling him a bitch there. Call him a bitch for switching his account instead of handling the heat, because he's a bitch. Kronos sent me $2 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you. He says, mods, having more debates than Oscar today. Is there a lot going on in the chat? We got to get some of the mods up. I think there are mods in the queue. I might actually, what do we got? We got 15 minutes left. So unless either Dr. Dankenstein or Chairmare, if you have anything else, I might let you go and just move on to some other friendly callers to see if I can give some people some airtime at the end of this friendly stream.
Oh, yeah, you can totally move on. Yeah, no, let's see other people. Get others up here.
Love you, Derek.
10 seconds. Just remember, if you ever get another libertarian, they got their own city, 1 year, overrun by bears.
Vermont, right?
New Hampshire, Grafton,
right. I should look into that. Yeah, libertarians are interesting. We're going to talk to Madi Just, and I'm expecting this to be friendly because we've been doing friendly talk, but these could be debates, so people need to tell me how old they are and they need to tell me if they're friendly or not. How old are you?
I am 24. I had to think about that for a sec.
Hey, we all stopped. I stopped counting when I was 21, so I can hear you. Friend or foe?
I am friendly. I am just asking. So I know that like there's a couple big like villainous people that pop up on Deans that are common players. So I think of like TPA, Elder Millennial. Would you ever hop into any of their streams and debate or invite them over to yours?
Yeah, I've been doing that more. I need to get better educated on some of those people, and I've been like looking through to check if some of them are blocked on my account if they don't show up here, just because like who knows what they may have gotten blocked for ages ago and they're just not showing up or whatever because of that. But because I've hired staff, I am very specifically spending much more time than I used to going around and engaging with other people's lives, hopping up on other liberal debate stages or kind of trolling around in the MAGA streams, because MAGA streams are a weird place. It's one thing. Okay, I will say this to my audience. Something I'm so excited about is that when I show up in MAGA streams, people will start erupting in the chat. Oskar doesn't mute. Don't mute Oskar. And it's like, ooh, if my audience can chase me around and know that it's unfair to mute Oskar because he generally doesn't mute people, if that can be the thing that stops, because in MAGA debates, they'll just interrupt you half a sentence into your explanation of why they're wrong, mute you, say a different talking point. You can really control the gish galloping if you have the mute button, which is why I try to like keep it fair and just not use the mute button. But yes, I'm super interested in all of that generally. Do you have anything else?
I was just curious. I've hopped up on Elder Millennials Live before, and it's always the most frustrating conversation of my life, and I feel like you destroy him. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, I my career has just started. I'm sure there's lots of interesting people I've yet to debate. I'm excited for things to come. So thanks for the question. W's in the chat for Maddie with 1D. And Anna Kaniak, I do see your $2 YouTube super chat. They say that they just downloaded TikTok, cannot get live access. Yeah, it takes a little bit of engaging. So maybe hop over and watch on the. It's not going to happen for you today probably, but maybe just watch some live streams, comment, engage. You'll eventually get access to join as a guest. They just stop people with brand new accounts doing it because it makes it a little harder for people like the Nazi in the first half of the stream to keep coming back with new accounts. So
I've heard that like adding people in chat in TikTok is good, because then if they respond back to you, it kind of gives you more credence or something. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I've heard in other lives.
We gotta please the gods of TikTok. So just engage, just show the algorithm that you're a real person. We'll talk briefly to Taserface, or maybe it won't be brief. Maybe it'll be a very interesting conversation. I don't know. How old are you?
Hey, I'm 39. I am a friendly.
Hello. What's up?
Well, I just want to say I've been watching you since pretty much you started. I love what you do, love your message, and I wanted to say congratulations for making it so far.
It's cool. There's a bunch of usernames. I didn't recognize yours, but every now and then I see a username where it's like, oh, that's a person who's been watching me since like March or something.
On donations, you'll see me pop up as Krista. So you've seen me before.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks for your continued support. It's cool to have so many people who are here at the beginning still coming along for the ride.
Absolutely. Thanks. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
W's in the chat for Taserface or Krista. I want to get some new people in, so I do see some friendlies who've been up today already, and Iowa Golfer, I do see you there, but I'm going to give some airtime to the... Iowa Golfer is a friendly, sort of, but he's like an oppositional friendly, so we might say hi to Iowa Golfer in the next 10 minutes, but first we're going to talk to plants and kitties. I like both plants and kitties. I like that plants grew over my window, so I get to have it open on the show without doxing myself. Hello.
Oh my gosh. Hello. I feel so lucky. Oh my goodness. I'm 35 years old. I'm a friendly.
Welcome.
And I just think you're doing great. And I've got a couple notes here. So I've been teaching ESL for 11 years, going on 12. English is a second language for anyone that doesn't know. I'll try not to use acronyms. And so I wanted to just see if you had, I know you were a teacher, an educator, and just some education topics that aren't really discussed a lot. And they disproportionately affect red states and underprivileged students. I'm in North Carolina. I'm a blue dot in a very rural ruby red area. Mm-hmm. And people don't talk about the whole school choice issue with the private voucher systems. There's really no fiscal accountability whatsoever. And I think if more conservatives knew how much of their tax money was going to these charter schools that don't have to, they don't even have to have background checks or teacher certifications. They can close up shop whenever, sending those kids back to public schools where they don't have the funding. That funding follows the kids, but it doesn't follow them back to public schools. In North Carolina, we have the education lottery, and several years ago, it used to be that a minimum of 20%, and I'm almost finished talking because I want to hear your response. It used to be that a minimum of 20% of the proceeds from the education lottery would go to to public schools and even higher education, secondary education. Now it's less than 13% of proceeds because they removed that guardrail. And so this is money, think about who buys lottery tickets. It's not the millionaires, the billionaires typically. And they're spending post-tax money on lottery tickets that less than 13% go back to these schools, which is why they have so many charter schools, because they're taking all the funding from public schools. and funneling it into private schools and just to make parents think that it's better for their kids.
Yeah, charter schools are super problematic, and I can admit I've taught some like programming classes as like an extracurricular in charter schools, and I find it to be this like really egregious little corner where people have appropriated tax money in a way that is for some students very beneficial. Like there are students who get to go to a charter school and are super duper privileged, but in terms of spending taxpayer money in a way that benefits everybody in a way that I consider to be equitable, the track record of charter schools is definitely bad for the reasons that you've brought up. So it's something I'm aware of as an educator, but it is complicated. Like I know that they vary so much in place to place. Like the reason I don't talk much about it in public as like a commentator is because I know that my experience is going to be reasonably limited. But I appreciate your insight. If there was a question baked into that I missed, please remind me, because I mostly was just sitting here agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, the topic of education is just, it's so controversial, and that's really where I started. I mean, like I said, I teach English as a second language. I speak Spanish. I have a master's degree in linguistics. I'm very pro everybody needs to learn a second language, but obviously, especially right now, I mean, 5 years ago, it wasn't important, but even right now, there's no importance placed on learning a second language. And I mean, of course, anytime I'm around people, like, I'm a white lady, so a lot of white people feel comfortable saying really racist shit around me. And I let them know right then and there that I'm not the one to say that around. And also, if I see people, which I'm in North Carolina in a rural area, so obviously I see it. I mean, I work with teachers that are this way. The teachers hate me because I don't let them get away with treating these children like this. I mean, because we could talk about the children with, ICE and the deportations. I mean, there's just education. It all falls back to education. And I think people need to talk about it a lot more, because most people say, well, I don't have kids in school system, so it really doesn't affect me. But it does. These are the people 5, 10, 20 years from now. We need them to be able to be our doctors, work on HVAC, build, things like that people just, there's so many things in the media right now. There's so many topics we can get distracted about, and it's hard to pay attention to everything at one time, but people are overlooking education. I'm gonna let you get back to your stream. I just wanted to put that out there.
W in the chat for Plants and Kitties. And yeah, I think that people completely underestimate the fact that teachers inform what life is like in America. Come here, Noodle. Don't bark at me. We'll go play soon. I saw the troll in the chat who thinks you don't like me. Noodle spends most of the show leaning against my left thigh, which is why I'm often like petting my dog off screen down here. So if you think my dog doesn't like me, she's jealous that I'm giving you my attention instead of her. She fucking loves me. That's why she demand barks at me sometimes during the show. We'll be playing fetch very soon, Noodle. What was I just saying? Yeah, like if we look at the people who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s, who are really the bulk of the labor in this country, the bulk of the people starting companies, the bulk of the people who are like participating in the zeitgeist by being artists and musicians and performers and actors and all influencers and all that stuff. It's the teachers of the last 20 years who shaped those minds. Whatever racist crap their parents thought, if maybe they had some of that undone in school, that's the education system. So like, it's so fucking important. It's like when people don't think that the food system is important or something because it doesn't get a lot of attention because it works most of the time. It's just so ridiculously, incredibly short-sighted to not thoroughly consider that it's our teachers who determine how educated the electorate is. And then that shapes where the country goes. And I think you guys all know how I feel about how that's gone lately. Not so great. Thanks, David, for the $5 on Venmo. Me and the other Davids covened and unanimously voted that David is the representation of a bitch in David world. I appreciate you, David. Some inside jokes there for those just joining the stream. But hey, I like that my show has the odd inside joke. We've got a couple minutes left, so I will just bring Iowa Golfer up to say hi, because I don't feel like getting into something new. And then we'll wrap for the day, so we can get to editing, get to working on those clips. How you doing, Iowa?
Not too bad, man. How are you?
I didn't get a single person calling in to defend Trump today. I got one person calling in to defend Hegseth's like dog whistle, white supremacist, Christian nationalist, Nazi-esque assortment of tattoos that he has. So we talked about that for a while. But me and all the other hosts are having a very hard time having someone come defend the guy.
That's a new one for me. What Nazi tattoos does he have?
He's got like a "We the People" on his arm, where it's a kind of a peculiar font, and it's like, I happen to speak some German and am familiar with the Gothic German font called Fraktur, and I genuinely believe that he went to a tattoo artist and said, do everything you can to make the "we the" look like W-E-I-S-Z-E, which in German is Weiße, which makes it read white people. I don't think the font makes sense unless that's what he was going for, so I'm using my general knowledge about the German language.
What's the font called? I actually want to look at it. What is it called?
Fraktur. Can you like... F-R-A-K-T-U-R. Fraktur. Because it's like a...
Did you still have a tab up for it?
It might be gone. The chat's saying that it's the font used on the Constitution, and I said no. Here, let's see if I still have it open. And I'm saying no, it's not exactly that font. It doesn't feel right. I was gonna
say, because there is like Old English. Like I have "We the People" on my arm. And I don't think that makes me a Nazi.
Well, so specifically what we're talking about is that, like, yes, I recognize this is like, time, like the top of the New York Times or the top, or the top of the Declaration of Independence. It's all this other nonsense that's going on with it that makes it more reminiscent of Fraktur for me, and it makes the fact that this saying Weiße, which when it was pointed out to me earlier on the stream, it like clicked in my brain and I went into German mode, because when I first heard people saying Weisse, I just wasn't picturing the German word Weisse. I was picturing like V-I-S-A, or I was like, what are we talking about? But when I saw this, it clicked in my head and thought, oh my God, it says Weisse. It says W-E-I, and then this character, which is the funny looking S in German, it's called an S-set, and then an E. And I just cannot believe that this is an accident. I cannot believe that Pete Hegseth had so shitty a tattoo artist that he accidentally made it look like this by jumbling these letters in such a way and adding these extra serifs and stuff that don't exist in the font to make it look like that.
I was going to ask, is there a way that we can look up the actual H font and what it's supposed to be versus the S set?
So I'll show you mine. Mine is Old English, is what they called it. Did you care if I turn my camera on and show you?
Yeah. Hold on, let me get this down. Let's get you up. Yeah, see, this doesn't look like an S set to me. Yeah, that's an H instead of...
It's pretty old. It's wore out. It needs to be touched up, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the original... yeah, okay, and I can also...
Because, that's pretty close to the I, or, the way you say it looks like an I, but it's a T.
The H is the important part.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here, God, I've changed my mind so many times on this live, because, okay, I appreciate you showing me that. We'll talk maybe in a moment, Iowa Golfer, about how it's also the Punisher skull, which I take issue with. But, aside from that, am I changing my mind on this live on the air? Raven, keep me honest. Yeah. It does look like it looks like on the Constitution.
Is that...
It looks more like an S set than I remember it looking like.
Can we get, like, an actual picture of the Constitution? Like, real...
Well, again, what we got down the rabbit hole on that guy with is that, like, it wasn't even the "We the People" one that we started with. That's the original Constitution. Let's compare this to Pete Hegseth's. Can I get? I can't get both on the screen. I'd have to do a second capture. I can switch back and forth pretty quickly though. Let's see. Maybe I need to recant this, because no, it does look more like that. Like now the same thing is triggering in my German-speaking brain, which is that I look at this and my brain wants to read it as Weisse. So I could be. I might have.
It literally looks like the twin, if you ask me. The top of the Constitution and that tattoo are twins.
No, you know what? I think I'm gonna fucking go back on it. I think I'm gonna say it's too accurate to the Constitution for me to. I'm blown away by this, but
my argument is that the whole point of dog whistles is that it is excusable, and when we add in a bunch of things together, does it create a big picture?
Well, yeah, because I can throw this example away completely, and I still take issue with Pete Hegseth's tattoos.
Right, he's still got the chest one. He's got the arguable 88 one. I don't even feel comfortable.
What's the chest?
Really
isn't the chest one? The chest one's a Jerusalem cross, isn't it?
Yeah, which is just, again, also just kind of a red flag in the political climate for somebody who ranks so highly in our military to have that. But honestly, like I agree with you, Raven, that
they had the Jerusalem cross on Jimmy Carter's. On his obituary and his funeral.
But see, this is one of those. If it's one instance of it, it's not necessarily.
Well, no, it's like a national Catholic symbol. Like the Jerusalem cross is huge in
Right.
Catholicism.
But neo-Nazis also use that symbol. And so we can't just say because somebody has that specific tattoo that he's a neo-Nazi. But when you look at, 1 + 2 + 3, then you start to get a sum of things.
Why do you have a Punisher skull on your arm, Iowa?
It was just a tattoo that I thought looked cool when I was younger.
Which has also been opted by neo-Nazis, unfortunately.
Yeah. So actually, here's something interesting that I'll say to Iowa Golfer. I think that like a lot of the defense for these tattoos, because like Plattner's tattoo is also being defended, because he apparently has a tattoo that he admits was bad, but didn't know it was bad when he got it, and he got it covered up. Iowa, especially with some of the changes in your political thinking that you've had in the last 4 months, I think I would just advise, like, I think I believe you. I've talked to you for so long and I think you're good faith. I genuinely don't think you look at that tattoo on your arm hatefully. I just, as like kind of your buddy, recommend you cover that shit up, dude.
I was actually thinking about getting it covered up, but
yeah,
like I said, it was just a tattoo that I got when I was like 19 years old, and I thought it looked cool.
Well, lots of 19-year-olds think the Punisher skull is cool, but the Punisher skull is becoming less and less cool the more and more we see it like on the uniforms of ICE agents and on the skin of ICE agents and on the assault rifle that was used by that police officer in that Las Vegas hotel hallway where that guy was very intoxicated and crawling and trying to answer the instructions that the officer was giving him, but he was too intoxicated, and they kept telling him to put his hands up and crawl, which you can't do the both at the same time. So they eventually just shot him for no reason. That guy had a Punisher skull on the weapon that he performed that crime with. So I do believe you. Like, it is just my reckoning from knowing you that I in my heart just believe the words out of your mouth that that's the way that you feel about it. But that shit's got to go, buddy.
I was a conservative back when that symbol became cool, and like within that circle, it was just a cool people over the power type symbol. But then the history of it just progressed into just neo-Nazis, which actually ends up being really oxymoronic, because if it's a "don't tread on me" tattoo, why is the police wearing it?
Yeah. I'm blown away by having looked up the Constitution and seeing that now that I'm aware of it and I can't unsee it. My brain reads it as Weisse because I speak German. But like, yeah, I see, here we are, because it's baked into the episode. We don't have to put so aggressive a correction in the description, because here I am like back agnostic to that particular thing. But again, it's just like, okay, remove that full point for that and make it like a quarter of a point for him not taking care to make it not look like that. But again, it just adds to a pile of stuff. What was your question, Iowa?
Are you fluent in German?
No, I learned German in high school, and I had a friend like through my early 20s who spoke German fluently, so I had like a roommate that I would like speak German with for practice. So ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Meine Aussprache ist nicht so gar schlecht, weil ich war für so viele Jahre eine Schauspieler, which basically what I just said is I learned German in high school, and my pronunciation is not that bad because I was an actor for so long. But I always say I wouldn't struggle like getting a hotel room or ordering at a restaurant in Germany, but I'd be really boring at a party. I can't like follow an interesting conversation.
Yeah, my great grandma Maida, she speaks German. She's from Germany. She came from Germany. So, like I said, I grew up knowing some German. I forgot pretty much all of it, but yeah, she still speaks German. Is still like her first language. She speaks English just fine, but when she gets mad, she still resorts back to German. It's kind of crazy.
My grandma did the same thing.
Actually, no, my grandma also does that. Her German's not that great. She only lived in Germany for a few years at the end of World War II because Russia was invading Latvia, so she fled to Berlin at the conclusion of the war. Yeah. So I've spoken some German with her, but hers is like German with like an old Latvian lady's like accent on top of it. It's not very fluent. Interesting. See, today's one of those honest episodes where like nothing happened on my show. We didn't debate with any MAGA Americans really, except for the one like guy who was really defending Hegseth on this. And I've sat here and just honestly taken in that I'm blown away that it so looks like it says white people at the top of the Constitution. I learned that today, and I fucking hilarious that Iowa Golfer had the same tattoo to show us live and in color, which brought up the Punisher skull conversation, which it's bad cops who like that shit. They're putting that in the chat too. I'm glad you're considering covering that up, because it doesn't mean what it meant to you when you were 19. But on that very confusing note, you have something?
Are you trying to go late today?
No, I don't think so. I gotta fill time later. We'll talk about my schedule. But we should get to editing. Iowa Golfer, thanks for coming up. Get that tattoo removed.
Later, I tell you what, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be anytime soon. I got a lot of other stuff I gotta take care of before I worry about that tattoo.
Spend money on that baby before you spend money on that tattoo, but definitely put it on your horizon.
Yeah. All right.
Catch you later, Iowa Golfer. And I do have some donors to thank. I have a big donor to thank. I have Jennifer, who sent me $100 on Venmo. So fucking W's in the chat for Jennifer. Shout out to the teachers. Yeah, appreciate that, Jennifer. Really. I mean, the $100 for the show, and then also just, the shout out for teachers, because it is a little sad that, I'm not a proper teacher anymore. And Zachary sent me $5 on Venmo to say, not 100% sure if I'm correct on this, but I think the symbol for the Punisher was changed recently because the writers are upset that it became a neo-Nazi symbol. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if the reason's innocent, you got to just, keep with the times on that one. Because obviously the fucking Constitution predates all this Nazi nonsense. So I don't know. I'm not so kooky to think that the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence were white supremacists, to be clear. But I don't think that they were making a reference to German white supremacy in the 1700s. That doesn't make any sense to me. Hegseth sent me $5 on Cash App to say, keep doing what you do, brother. All the love. Thank you so much. Hegseth is another frequent donor to the show. Do we have anything else on YouTube Super Chat? W. Raven, they all add up. Crusades, tats everywhere for $2 from Kronos. I think that...
that was in regards to P. Hegseth.
Oh, yeah. And then, oh my God, wait, there's more here. Because Pat in the chat said, one of today's sites is J. Edgar Boozer. You can probably guess who that is. Word Clown on socials. 20-ish sites, not all are GOP. I was mistaken, my bad. Yeah. I will check that out. I have that in my tab to look at later. And Kronos sent another $5 to say, W, all the people in the chat's helping today, keeping it clean. Bigots aren't welcome in the chat, but are always welcome to hop in the live. Yeah, we do allow opposition in the chat, but not bigotry. You can't just spout a bunch of nonsense. Man, is the chat filling up with bigots? I wonder if those trolls are still after me. That's the show, everybody. Linktree in the bio if you want to support stuff. 7 p.m. Central Time on Sundays for the Sunday evening talk show where I have a special guest, and members only chat after that if you're a monthly subscriber somewhere. Raven, do you have anything to add before we go offline?
Just that I love chat. They're all wonderful and amazing. Thanks for being here and thanks for supporting.
W, everybody, mods, donors, Discord, all those people. Yes, Noodle, we shall go play fetch very, very soon. W Noodle for grumbling at me during the show. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, TikTok. And goodbye, YouTube.